Everybody. Good to see you. Everybody, could you please find your seats and wrap up your conversations? All right, guys. Final warning. Let's go. Alex Strand. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, for coming out. We're very excited to see all of you. It's a very exciting time for us as well as we go into 2019. We have a lot of exciting news planned for everybody, and we want to thank everybody for making it out all over the world. You know, it's incredibly how fast and how diverse this ecosystem is growing. And you have new partners from South Africa to China to Japan to Korea. You know, it's incredible to see just how many new ideas are entering the ecosystem, how many new entrepreneurs, and all the activity that's going on. So from the deepest, I can't tell you guys enough. If we could get a quick hand for everybody for making it all the way out here from all over the world. All right, well, with that, we're going to get things started. So thank you and welcome to Winter Summit. To start us off today, we're going to have our CEO, Saeed Hamidi, say a few words after a quick video.
Welcome to our Winter Summit. I hope you will have an inspiring journey in the next 3 days. Hello everyone, welcome to Plug and Play. Really, it's a great honor to be here and welcoming all of you. Just, I think it would be interesting for the audience as well. I wanted to know how many of you are visiting us from outside California. Show of hands. My God. And how many of you are visiting us outside of US? Wonderful. And who is the first time in Plug and Play? Me, I'm the first time here. No, but again, I wanted to welcome everyone. Quite frankly, about 11 years ago, when we started Plug and Play, I could not ever imagine having such an innovation platform like for insurance, thanks to Munich Re, who asked us to set this up, and to stretch all over the world. I think Hutch mentioned South Africa, Japan, China. I recently came from a whirlwind trip. I was in London, Paris, Spain. Then I came home for 24 hours, went to Singapore, Beijing, and Shanghai. And everywhere I mentioned London, I was with Willis Tower. It was great. We saw the change in the industry. You know, specifically, I think last week, China opened up the licensing agreement that you can be a foreign insurance company without a local partner. And I think the first license they gave to Allianz, if I'm not mistaken. But the change in the insurance industry, in my opinion, is faster than ever. There is a lot of major insurance companies launching new brands, mobile only, that you could sign up for insurance, do your claim processing with incredibly fast growth. I just would share one example from banking. We invested in a company in Berlin called Number 26. It's a mobile bank only, and you can open a bank account in 3 minutes and do everything you want to do in banking. Parallel to that, I don't want to pick on Deutsche Bank because they have had a little bit of a rough journey these days, but I wanted to open an account in Deutsche Bank, and they told me, Saeed, it takes 1 to 2 months. Then you have to go to the post office and register your signature. And I told them in Berlin, but I've been working with Deutsche Bank for 10 years. The loan on this building is from Deutsche Bank. And I had my New York contacts contact Berlin. They said, Saeed is a very good customer at the bank for 10 years. And guess how long did it take me to open an account? From 2 months, they reduced it to 2 weeks. But the morale of that story is people expect a different service. People expect to do things 100% on this mobile, all the way to consumers, but also we see more B2B business done on this mobile. And Plug and Play InsurTech Innovation Platform is here because you are here. And together we want to hopefully not only watch what is happening, but build the future together. I believe with the quality of the technology and the startups you will see, they will shape the industry and possibly disrupt the industry the same way as Airbnb has disrupted hospitality industry and Uber and Didi have disrupted, transportation. Please, I always say, consider this platform. It is as much yours and startups, and we would love to get your ideas and to try to build a better platform together. Again, welcome everybody. Mr. Ali, do I turn it over to you?
Hi, everyone. Welcome again to our one of our expos. This one, I think, is the second year we're doing a Winter Summit. It's our 4th big summit. And we're very, very excited to have everyone here. As always, not as always, we started doing this like last summit. We'd like to give you a quick update on where we are, some of the trends we saw, and a recap on the batch that we just are finishing today. So first, everything wouldn't be possible without the partners that we have. So first, thank you all for believing in us and being part of the platform. As Saeed said, we look at you guys as partners because we'd like for you guys to feel ownership over this. And this, the bigger the platform is, the more value everyone's going to get. We also like to thank the startups that are going to be presenting today. A lot of them flew from a lot of different locations to be presenting. Where we are today, as a quick recap, is that, as you guys know, we launched 5 offices starting end of last year until March of this year. Now we have 6 global locations, over 260 deal flows. I think we're done just in Silicon Valley alone. In Silicon Valley now, we're over 75 partners. We actually had a few joining last week. This is our 5th batch. We had roughly 30 companies here. During this last program, we had 3 focus weeks. One focused on life health group benefits. That was very, very focused on underwriting and making sense of data. We also touched base on GDPR and some of the privacy issues that a lot of people are concerned about. And also, how do you denoise the data? From all the data that exists, how do you go down to the data that makes the most sense? The second focus week was around property and casualty, again focused on underwriting. If you guys remember, the last PNC event we had was more focused on fraud detection and claims. This one was a lot more focused on the automation of underwriting and how do you enrich the data for different products. And the last one was focused on distribution around our broker age events. This is the second time we were doing an event focused on distribution, both on the independent agent side and a lot of the brokers and agent distribution channels that a lot of our carrier partners had that had a very good turnaround. Overall, I think it's been a very, very exciting year for us in 2018. And for 2019, I think we're trying to double down on ways to create value for our partners. We have a lot of interesting updates to give to you guys soon, especially with the Anchor advisory session that we have today. And we're excited to see how it goes. Munich, we finalized our batch 0 around 6 months ago. We are in the middle of a batch 1. We're trying to finalize that in January. So that's going to be when we're going to have our Winter Expo in Munich. It's going to be January, I think, 20th, which everyone is welcome to go. If you'd like to go, just shoot us a note. We could extend a ticket. We did a live health group benefit similar to the one that we did here over there, and then similar to a Bridge the Gap event that we do in Silicon Valley usually in the first 6 months of the year. We did one focus on regulations in Munich in November, which was a great way for us to engage with regulations there. And for 2019, I think we're really doubling down on making Munich the ultimate European innovation platform to increase our ecosystem beyond Germany. More partners from UK, Irish Life is a partner there, which we're very excited about, but more partners from UK, Spain, and some of the other countries to be able to create an ecosystem similar to here in Munich. All right, lights out. All right. Japan, we are in batch 1 as well. We finalized our batch 0 6 months ago. And now we have 6 partners. It's been growing very good. And as you guys know, Japan is the second biggest insurance market in the world. Very exciting. We have a lot of great Japanese partners here. This was a way for us to be able to directly engage with the business units and complement the activities that we have here. Singapore just finalized our batch 0, and that just happened November 15. It was very exciting. I think Southeast Asia as a market is super, super interesting and super unique. A lot of interesting startups are coming out of the market, but at the same time, as a market itself, as an insurance market, India and Southeast Asia are very fascinating for a lot of the carrier partners that we have. New York, we don't run an accelerator program there, but we do a lot of events. We just finalized our cyber risk event November 29th. What we're doing in New York is different than Silicon Valley. In New York, we look at it as an outpost to engage more with business units. So Silicon Valley, we look at it as a hub to get a lot of exposure. In New York, we're trying to do more theme-based deep dives into topics and to bring a smaller crowd together to have a roundtable discussion and see the latest technologies that could help with that topic, which the cyber risk event was an example of that, which was very successful. At the same time, we did a very big summit in New York in June. We had roughly 600 people come out. We were sold out 2 months before the event. Which shows there's a lot of interest, and we're trying different things to be able to provide value there. One of the most exciting locations for me personally is China. I think I just visited China last 2 weeks ago. I think the quality of the companies were a lot better than I thought. I was very, very impressed. Most of the startups there are US educated and at least worked in a US company. I would 100% encourage everyone to go, if they can, to at least visit once. It's going to be a very, very interesting trip. Happy to provide more information. We're doing more to help with market intelligence, to provide more insights into what's happening, but you have to visit yourself as well. And then international, beyond the locations we had, we just did an event in London with Willis Towers Watson. It was a very good event. I think we had almost 100 carriers there. And then we did an event with South Africa, thanks to our friends at Sanlam. Which was, again, very exciting. And we're trying to do more of these events in different locations to be able to engage with more business units within your companies rather than the innovation teams only. That being said, I want to quickly give an update on batch 4, because last time that I did this presentation, it was a lot more about what happened during the batch. This is like the results of our post-batch interviews. It's not too long. It's just a matter of you guys getting a feel of what do startups usually look for by coming to Plug and Play. As you could see, 46% of our startups have a very big focus on just meeting corporations, more than us investing in them or anything else. The POC pilot kind of fits into that as well. That basically brings you to over 50% of the companies. But at the same time, we have companies that join and just seeing what's going to happen, which that's the 11%, as you could see. Didn't know what to expect. I hope they do now, but I mean, could do a better job of educating, I guess. As you could also see that we are increasing the quality of our programs. We have invested a lot more time and resources into improving the quality through the mentor network, the advisor network, and collaboration with our corporates. Increasingly, the amount of startups are saying that they're getting more and more value out of the programs, which have been very exciting. But at the same time, there are companies that still don't see value. We have to fix that. And then last thing is that do the startups feel like they have an easier time working with corporates and to collaborate? And as you could see, the majority, by a huge difference, see value in this and see this as a way to be able to shorten the sales cycles and meet the most relevant people. And that's where the importance of a platform comes for us. And then 75% of the companies at least had 3 strong, basically, leads coming out of the program. Which is a very huge milestone for us. Going back to 2018 trend analysis, especially for this program, I think one of the first things is that, as we mentioned before, we're going more international, and as you could see, because of our more international presence and sourcing in more countries, our batches are more international focused, but still because of proximity and just the quality of the companies, US is still dominantly the biggest area that we source from. Something that has happened many times, and I've talked about this a few times, I think as the corporates are getting more comfortable working with startups, they're getting more comfortable working with seed stage companies. And at the same time, as a lot of our partners are building their innovation capabilities, sourcing capabilities, they get to know a lot of the big stage companies. They really want to get access to the companies that otherwise they couldn't get access to. Does that mean we still don't work with growth stage companies? No. We still have a database of 10,000 companies. We're actively sourcing. We source from 14 industries. But when it comes to the program specifically, I think there's a little bit more value for sometimes earlier stage companies than growth stage companies. And that's why the number has picked up. And one other interesting thing is that we try to lower the general InsurTechs compared to last batches, and we ramped up our life and health group benefits as we had a lot more life partners join us. When we ask our partners what are the biggest areas of focus, I think these are the numbers that we got. Number 1 is underwriting by far. It's been a very huge area of interest. If we had asked people 2 years ago what was the biggest area, it would have been distribution. Everyone was looking for a sexy app or a sexy digital MGA, but it kind of has shifted a lot more towards risk management and understanding of risk. And it's, as you could see, claims has also become a lot bigger area of interest than it was 2 years ago. And this goes well with what we typically say that InsurTech evolution is moving towards back-end more and more from the front-facing. And that's just a quick way of looking into it. So deep diving into underwriting, if you look at what partners have interest in, data enrichment has risen number 1. Everyone is asking for ways to understand the risk through data, a lot more than just automation. Automation is still very, very important, but I think the underwriting is switching towards who's got the best data. More than anything else, because the tools are becoming a commodity. A lot of the other stuff are becoming a commodity, but the data that you get access to, if other people don't have access to it, I think is becoming a very, very key differentiator in terms of your pricing. And then, as you could see, analytics and risk modeling steer a top 4. Machine vision is not as sexy as it was for underwriting. I think it's still very important for claims, but at least for the underwriting part, I think drone applications were really focused on underwriting before. One thing that happened, people realized that it's very expensive to use drones for underwriting. It makes more sense for claims. I think that had a big impact on this, but at least for now, this is a trend that we see. But on the other side of it, predictive analytics. I mean, insurance is about pricing risk as what's going to happen in the future. So it does make sense to spend more and more time on predictive analytics more than anything else when it comes to underwriting. When it comes to claims, I think the top areas that we've been focused on, as you could see, claims management was a big area of focus, but fraud and loss control have risen a lot. I think especially loss control, as it is 60% of what you guys are paying for, in your pools, it makes sense to spend a lot more time on reducing the loss. And at the same time, fraud prevention, it's been a big area. And as you could see in terms of focus, machine vision is usually fluctuating. It's always an area of interest, especially the biggest area that everyone talks about is one, auto. The second one is about homes. How do you use drone technology partnered with machine vision to be able to do a better job of claim management? And then a lot of the AI applications, I think, are picking up as well. And then the last one, customer engagement. As you could see, it's been roughly the same area. I think customer support chatbots are still hot. They've dipped a little bit, but it's still a very big area of focus, which I think insurance is playing catch up with some of the other industries. But the user interface, retention, and rewards are all big areas of interest. As you can see, chatbot is dropping a little bit, but it still has a huge interest. But automation RPA, when it comes to customer engagement, that's where also chatbots plus some of the other technologies come in. And anything else to help us better understand the customer, to better service them, is very key. So as plug and play, I mean, at least our insurance team, the areas that we are very focused on and we like to focus more on, we basically sat down and we thought about what is it that we really want out of changing insurance and what is it that we really could help with. I think the number one thing is that insurance is kind of double the price of what it should be. If you know, the loss ratio of 56% and your expense ratios are roughly 40%, that means insurance has a lot of room to become cheaper. But at the same time, the 56% loss ratios, a lot of it could be prevented maybe using fraud or using other loss control methods. So that's one area that we think we could help with, and technology could help a lot with. The second thing is reducing the expense ratios. So there's a lot of, especially with Enterprise 2.0 that we have coming up after InsurTech and a lot of the InsurTech solutions, there's a lot of ways to help reduce expense ratios using technology, automation, better pricing, and everything else that's going to play a key role in 2019. And the last one is about how do we make sure everything is still fair, that the customer doesn't feel like for us to reduce the cost that we're not going to pay out in a fair way. And at the same time, how do we make sure the hospital is not overcharging us or the pharma company for what the insurance company is paying. The second area, I think it's all about how do we make sure everyone's covered for everything. One of the most interesting areas for us is new products. I think that's one of the most exciting things in general because it's just different. We have everything like Blockry is going to talk today about crypto asset insurance. We have drone insurance or cyber insurance, all these new risks that we didn't have to worry about before. But now with technology changing, there's a lot of new risks that are going to happen. And staying ahead of risk, the truth is a lot of the new risk is coming from technology centers like Silicon Valley. And being just aware of what's happening and keeping your fingers on the pulse, it's a very, very key thing to have. That's one of the reasons we think just being in the expos for other verticals could be very useful to know where's autonomous cars at, like what is Daimler looking at, or what is Johnson & Johnson looking at, or the latest health technologies. And then most importantly, I think insurance needs to become a little bit more consultancy in terms of helping people understand what their exposure is and then help them get the right exposure coverage rather than just sell them a product. And that's a key area for us to be able to help. How do we better help people understand and how do we better consult them? And last but not least, I think a lot of insurance carriers, especially the ones that are thought leaders in the space, are moving towards becoming more like a service provider than just a carrier of risk. And building service solutions when it comes to claim servicing, I think when it comes to claim servicing, USAA is a very, very known name, and that's one of the reasons the NPS scores are over 80%. And this is something I think a lot of the carriers are moving towards, but then this goes beyond just providing insurance. I think I was talking to Sampo, and the discussion was around how do we help customers with everything, not just the risk? And how do we make insurance a big part of the backbone of a family? And this is something, again, I think technology is going to play a large role in. That being said, that was a long discussion. Thank you for listening. You're going to have to listen to me a little bit more because I'm going to have a fireside chat with Luca Mariotti from Swiss Re. Thank you. And please welcome Luca to stage. So, hi, Luca. Thank you so much for joining us today. Guys, Luca is the global head of innovation for Swiss Re. One of our global partners. It's been an honor working with Luca and the team for quite a while. Actually, we know Luca from before he joined Swiss Re, when he joined Zurich. And I remember the first advisory meeting we had, at the day that we launched insurance, Luca was at that advisory meeting, just under a different company. Today, we thought it would be good to have a discussion about where Swiss Re is in terms of their global transformation. And I was chatting with Luca, I think not that long ago, and he brought up some of the points, so some of the areas that they thought could be interesting. And they were open to sharing it with the audience. And we thought this could be a very, very good educational thing for everyone to hear, and that's why we wanted to invite Luca, to have a fireside chat.
Okay. Thank you, Ali. Actually, this is the very first time we talk about this in public. But Ali has been seeing from time to time the one or the other slide, and then he said, can you talk about this at Plug and Play? And so that's how it came about. But I think it's also about time that we start talking about it. And let me just see.
Oh. Wait, I think this is the wrong presentation, guys.
It's always the same. In technology shops, the technology never works. But anyway.
So maybe we should start with just giving a little bit of background of, I know you guys have been doing a lot of stuff, even though you've been quiet and haven't shared a lot.
We've been very quiet by choice, and we're doing some of the stuff. I'm going to show when the slides arrive, I'm going to show that. But the reality is that we felt embarrassed. We were doing a lot of stuff. There was a lot of techurism. People were going around. At a point, then I came in, they asked me, to pull things together and make a strategy out of it. And we had collected over 300 tech initiatives that were going on across the company, and the impact was zero. It was and we felt, we cannot go to the public and talk about this. This is something we need better sort out before. And then we embarked into a journey, and it took really long until we understood something very simple, which is what we call the tech transformation, at least in our industry, comes in 3 phases. There's a first phase, we call it exploration. That when people go to disruption conferences, they get back very excited, and guess what? Nothing happens. We call it watch it, don't touch it kind of phase, okay? So then there's a second phase, that's where I see at the moment is most of the industries, is where people experiment, the experimentation phase. So they open accelerators, they have innovation teams and the like. But again, at least in our case, the impact of that phase was almost zero, let me put it that way. So we call it the touch, don't use it phase. And I was saying, we need to move into value creation. The value creation is use it, make some money. That should be the objective in very simple terms. And then we went one step further, and we figured out that the reason or the way to make things work is when instead of departing from the technology, which is what most people do, you depart from the business. So we challenged the businesses to put forward use cases. And as it turned out, it was extremely difficult. And when you read a good use case, it reads kind of easy and pedestrian, but to write it is really difficult. But anyway, the businesses eventually came up with the use cases. And in that process, we realized that the reason why technology is so difficult for insurance is that it touches insurance alongside 2 dimensions. There's a first dimension, which is the dimension of productivity. We still live in a stone age. There's a lot of talking about insurance being, the world being underinsured. And guess what? Because it's fast too expensive. I think insurance is probably twice as expensive as it should be.
That's what I said too, as FYI.
And there's a lot that can be done there, but it's not trivial because of legacy systems, because of legacy distribution, a lot of legacy there, and because of regulation. And let's be honest to ourselves, parts of the industry are trying to play the regulation cards to keep things as they are. And then there's another dimension, which is technology is changing, in many cases, the nature and size of risk pools. So, think of cars is the easiest to think of. With semi or even fully autonomous vehicles, the liability moves from the driver to the OEM. That changes a lot. And this risk pool is structurally shrinking. Yeah, it's getting bigger and bigger because there are more and more cars. But in reality, there are less and less accidents. So that is shrinking, if you want. And then there's another one, take cyber. 5 years ago, nobody was talking about cyber risk. And now we all realize it's probably going to be the mother of our risk pools in 5 to 10 years from now, and nobody really knows how to insure it on a large scale. So this is creating a lot of ambiguity, a lot of, people feel insecure about how the industry should react against that. So those were the things that we discovered.
Yeah, and before we start in something like just on a side note, this is off of the question. Luca, could you go back? Because one thing that Luca does is that he picks the best pictures for his presentations, and they always have like a sub-context. Could you tell us more about why you chose this picture? Every time I ask him, I'm always amazed by the answer.
Okay, now everybody knows I'm a fan of Greek mythology. This is the picture of the bird of Athena that is known to have been born out of the head of Zeus. And the story goes like this: Zeus had a terrible headache, and then he's desperate, and so he goes to Hephaestus, who was the god of technology at the time, asking for help. And he manufactures a special axe and bumps the axe on his head, and then out comes Athena, which is intelligence. so that's I thought it was how to get the intelligence box using technology.
Using a hammer. All right, got it. So there's another thing that you said. I just want to make sure that everyone got it. If we go to the next slide, there's one that I like a lot, which is this one. So watch it, don't touch it, don't use it, and touch it and make some money. So one thing that we just like to just say here is that I think our experience has been kind of the same, that when partners join us, the first year of the partnership usually is a lot more about just understanding what's going on in Silicon Valley, what startups are doing, and just getting a feel of what's going on. And I think a big KPI for us has been, if by the end of the year or in 9 months, the partner starts asking the right questions, that's a major improvement. Because a lot of people who start coming here, it always starts, and it's very normal. Everyone does that. It's like, hey, I want to see AI. Okay, what kind of AI? Just AI, and in general. And it's very hard for us to understand how is that going to help you without having an idea of how AI is going to be used. But then after a while, it starts moving more towards, hey, I want to see what are the AI applications for underwriting for this specific product that I have in this specific market. And that's where a lot of this kind of stuff comes. And then experimentation is about, it's okay to fail. It's okay for you to have 10 POCs and pilots and fail every single one of them to build the muscle memories to be able to later create value. And I guess Swiss Re now is in a value generation phase, right?
Hopefully, yes.
Yeah, okay, so tell us more about that. So tell us more about how does the value creation work?
Well, so what basically we did was we understood this logic of how tech is changing insurance. And when we understood that we need to go alongside use cases coming from the business, and then we have basically structured activities around 4 boxes. And those boxes are not perfect, but they're practically useful. That's why we choose them. The first one, we're a reinsurance company, so it's about helping our clients becoming better and better. So then the same we should do for ourselves, which is basically increasing productivity. The third one is getting closer to risk. Why? Because we see how in many cases the nature of risk access is changing. Again, car is a very good example. In 5 years from now, probably most cars will come with insurance built in. So this is a totally different distribution system than the one we have today. So and maybe there's a share for, what is going to be our role in such a setup? And finally, we have over 150 years worth of global data. We need to make sense of those data, use them, and it's not trivial. And we said, we need to have a special area of focus around data, and so we've structured our activities around those 4 boxes.
And then I guess, I mean, it sounds like you guys have a lot of plans, but I think the devil is in the details. So how do you guys plan to do that?
Those were the details in the past. So when we started with this exercise,
sounds very clean structure.
This was the decision-making process. So as many committees as you possibly think. But that's, if you think that we're a reinsurance company, it makes sense. Because when you're about to sign a large reinsurance contract, you're betting the company. So a small mistake and you go bust. So that can happen. So how do you avoid this? Is by having as many people as you can looking over it, spotting the mistake. Now, apply the same thing when you screen a startup. The startup is get killed within milliseconds. So we said we need to change that and simplify. So, and then I had a conversation with Christian. Christian is our CEO. And he said, oh, well, how do we do that organizationally? And I said, it's very simple, you do it. And no, I possibly cannot have the time to do this. No, you don't need to do anything. You just need to say it. And then we create a small team. And this team is basically has the task to facilitate the process. This is a change management program as much as it is a tech program. Nobody in the team is allowed to innovate anything, so I'm not the head of innovation. We've closed down the innovation team. Innovation is the job of the business. What the team does is it helps establishing the right contacts to the right companies, and it helps the businesses to prepare use cases. But then it's for the businesses to do the stuff. And actually, as far as I'm concerned, my most important KPI is to make myself redundant as soon as possible.
And you have a very interesting saying. When I ask how many people are working on innovation in Swiss Re, how many?
14,500. Everybody.
And that's one of the things that I think is very interesting. And sorry, go back 1 second about like how do you, because one of the interesting areas is that you have a very lean team, but at the same time you really try to get a lot of the business units to be directly engaged. Yeah. Any quick like hint or any feedback on like what's useful for people to know? Because that's a question we keep getting asked a lot, is like where does the innovation team work versus the like in conjunction with the business units? Is it like you guys source pass it to them, or is it more like you guys do a POC pass it to them, or like, how does that work?
No, the business comes with a problem, okay? Let me take a recent example. So they come with a problem and say, we would like to do automation of knowledge work. However, we get stuck because we're not able to extract content from tables that come in images. So that's a use case, okay? As it turns out, this problem is shared across all business units. So, and then we pack the people and bring them to the tech cluster to search for a company able to do that. And there are not that many companies able to do that. Actually, we've only found one that does it really electronically. Because many companies are, yeah, of course I can do content extraction. And then you go, and then you lift the hood, and what you see inside is a real depth of mechanical Turks, meaning humans somewhere in the world actually doing the work. That's what was not what we were looking for. So, and when you do those processes, then you end up involving, in many cases, over 100 people. And they all work to solve the specific use case and sub-use cases to get traction in a marketplace.
Very interesting. And I guess a lot of what you guys do is basically finding the problems, scouting for the relevant technologies, and choosing partners. So how does the scouting process work? Like, what are the different initiatives you guys have in place for vetting technologies?
So, first of all, we basically identified for ourselves a set of do and don'ts, meaning, you know, we need to enable the workforce to do the stuff. I'm going to talk about it maybe a bit later. Then focus on top-notch access partners. We are an underwriting company. We're not an engineering company. Yes, we have maybe 20 top engineers, but we don't pretend to be the one who understands the nuts and bolts of a technology we touch. However, we work with partners such as Plug and Play, the VCs in Palo Alto, MIT, academia, and we look at what those people believe in. And as it turns out, those people are making billions by choosing the right technology. So they check the technology, and so far, what we found out is that through this process, we get to technology that actually is robust and works. So that leads to tech platforms based on best breed engineering. So what we don't do is we don't invest anymore. We found out actually it doesn't help to invest because then you become a competitor to the VCs. They don't like that. At least they told us. We don't believe in exclusivity. Why? Because the innovation is in the execution, in our case, not in the algorithm. Other people make money innovating on algorithm. We make money innovating on how we execute. Physical presence, we don't need. Actually, I'm present whenever I need to be present anywhere, and so do people from my team. So I spend my life in a plane. But apart from that, we found if we have people in a place, they've got a lot to do for a week, and then they've got nothing to do for the following 3 months. So we don't need that. We rather invest in airline tickets. And Ivory Tower innovation teams, they don't work. I mean, we couldn't make it work. Maybe others are better at doing this. And therefore we said, it's the business that needs to do that. Now, where do we do it? We said, well, we cannot do that everywhere, and we will miss out probably 20-30% of the equation by doing it this way. But we get the 70% that I'm pretty proud of. And we figure, as it turns out, is basically Palo Alto with this set of partners, mostly VCs and plug and play. It's Cambridge, Massachusetts, where MIT and the ecosystem is Israel, where we work with SOSA, which gives us access to far more than we can possibly digest. NASCOM in India, which is an interesting animal, because NASCOM is kind of a state-owned plug-and-play that the Indian government is using to re-import seasoned, very good Indian engineers. And then China, which is the big surprise for me. I mean, what's happening in China is staggering. And the only way to be in China is to work with Chinese companies. And there we engage with, again, plug and play, we open together. But then Tsinghua University, to make sense of it, imagine Stanford and MIT combined times 4. So, and they also have their own VC, it's called Tsinghua Asset Management. They have a portfolio of 10,000 companies. And it's backed by a fund of 60 billions. They invest worldwide. This is kind of the SoftBank equivalent, if you want. So, and then we basically, the moment we have the use cases, meaning the business problem and the use case, we post our use cases to the clusters, and we say, look, do we have solutions? They go through the portfolios, they come back saying, okay, we think you should meet company XYZ. So there's a lot of due diligence we can do without traveling. And then when we have enough substance, we select a team and we bring the business decision makers along to interact with those companies. Out of 20 that we see, we may do a proof of concept with, I don't know, 3 or 4. And then hopefully we go into implementation. And we have the first cases now where we're actually implementing this stuff. But, we need also to be realistic. There are only that many use cases that you can implement at any point in time, even for a large corporation like us.
So you guys basically start working with external partners after mobilization of tech clusters, or before that? I missed that part.
No. We always start from a business problem.
Okay.
Okay.
Business unit, get the understanding,
exactly.
create a
then
case.
We say use case. The moment we have use cases,
you work with partners.
We start working with partners. Now, obviously, as we travel and we see stuff, we also get some inspiration. But I would say, we see for most order is kind of 80% inspiration, 20% perspiration, and we say, no, we need to turn it around. It's 80% perspiration, 20% inspiration.
Very interesting. And then you move to speed dating, POC. Yeah. How long does your POCs usually take? Like, is it like
it depends on the technology, because in some cases it may be a week, and in other cases it may be a year. It really depends on the complexity.
1 year for a POC. It's interesting.
Well, but it's like, Now that we're implementing, because part of the POC can also be the mobilization effort in a company. So we have now a data platform, and to onboard everybody, and with everybody, I really mean 14,500, it takes time. You need to train them, you need to explain it, you need to evangelize, and so on and so forth. And we are a Swiss company, and Swiss companies do a lot of stuff in consensus modus, which is kind of cumbersome and slow. However, the moment you have it, you really have it.
Makes a lot of sense. And I think a large part of what you are focused as well is internal transformation as well, and using boot camps and some of the other services.
Yeah, the one challenge, and maybe I briefly on how do we enable the 14,500 to do this? Okay, and I only focus on two. I've commented on the first one is we have the CEO sponsorship. And again, going back to that conversation I was quoting some 18 months ago, Christian told me, how can I possibly do this? I say, you just need to make a statement. So, and reality is that that statement made clear inside that this is a priority, and outside that we're serious about it. So that's all he needed to do, really. He's doing also other stuff because he's a passionate, but those are the strategic levers. So, and then the other thing was, how do we enable people to do it? Because it's not that difficult, actually, but people need to learn how to do it. So the first thing we did was we went to a consultancy company, and they were organizing seminars and frontal presentations. And people were coming back, were very expensive.
$2 million each.
Yeah, and people were coming back, and they were asking for more money to buy consultancy studies. So that's not the way it was intended to be. And so we ended up designing it ourselves, and we did a pilot. We called it Bootcamp, which is basically taking 35, 40 people in one location, working day and night, going through the tech sourcing process in 4.5 days. So from learning how to develop a use case to selecting the right company for it, do a proof of concept on the flight, and then do a business plan back of the envelope, which were all anathema to us kind of concept. So as it turns out, people, even the most great actuaries get extremely excited. Meanwhile, people are asking to do more and more. We've taken some almost 500 people through this process, but nobody was forced, okay? So now people are asking to repeat it, and now people are starting to talk to clients, and some clients are starting to say, we would also like to do one of those, and we haven't figured out yet how those things could be done with clients. But that's basically the mobilization program. And it's a simulation where people have to do the stuff. Now they've discovered that actually in those 4.5 days, they can even develop kind of robust prototypes. So they're using it as a tool to turbocharge problem solutions in their units.
And do you see these boot camps, just to go back really quick, do you see these boot camps as a better way? Is it more about creating excitement and a culture and educating people, or do you see it more as a way to actually create value and find solutions to problems?
It started as a training, a piece of training, also with some excitement. But what we've learned, and we didn't expect that, what we can use them to create solutions. So now, when you do a boot camps with, let's say, 5 teams, 5 people, you try to create 5 solutions. As it turns out, maybe 2 are useful, okay? But you have the learning, and you have some results that are tangible. So that's the way we do it. And we did some with Plug.
Yeah, like we did one with you guys. We just call it executive workshops, but it's based off of the bootcamp idea. We did a few in New York, I think, with you guys, and we're doing more. I think it's a very, very interesting way to both train people on understanding the language, better understanding what it is, but at the same time, by them being exposed to ideas that could be common across the industry, to get them very excited and potentially move into solutions.
There's no better way to learn something than to do it. As simple as that.
And you guys had a lot of commitments. I think the last one that we were aware of, you guys had 50 to 100 people, and it was 5 or 10 major business units.
Yeah, but that was actually 2 boot camps in parallel. So we've learned those things are actually pretty difficult to run. But meanwhile, we also use the boot camps to train the trainers. And meanwhile, we have some 30, 35 people within Swiss Re that can act as a moderator. And so it's a fully internal solution that we have.
Yeah, this is something that we've also found a lot of value out of it. I think it's a quick way to get a POC or a pilot off the ground. And if anyone has any questions, happy to chat more about it later, especially something that we think is a lot easier to do in satellite offices because they're a lot closer to the business units. And then last but not least, I think one of the most exciting part of the presentation is what does Swiss Re think is going to make the biggest impact, and especially Luca think, in terms of on global risk?
I'm coming slowly but surely to the conclusion that all fundamental pieces of technology are there. They're working. So what really will make the difference will be the combination. So what we see are emerging bundles of different technologies that make a difference specifically for our industry. So, and it would take too long now to go through each of those. We're over time, but I think the message is the bundles make the difference. So it's when you combine sensors with data analytics, with I don't know, catastrophe recovery. So that gives you a use case you can actually work on.
Yeah, and that's something I would like to add quickly, that we think some of these technologies could have a much, much bigger impact on an insurance company than some of the other distribution or underwriting technologies that are out there.
And maybe the last comment would be, where we're heading to is by involving the entire workforce, wave by wave, into what we're doing. What we really want is to adopt technology as a way of life. Technology needs to become normal. Nothing special about it, no noise, just use it, it's useful. Make sure you use it when it's useful as opposed to when it's just sexy. So my vision really is in a year from now to be quite there so that I can move on and do other things.
That sounds like a great life. All right, that's it on our side. Thank you so much for joining us, and looking forward to the presentation today. Thank you, sir. I'll just quickly put that down.
All right, guys. So we are going to jump into the startup presentations here. Our first break is not going to be for another 40 minutes, so we're going to carry it through. That being said, anybody who does not have a brochure or an information packet, please raise your hand right now. The girls are walking around and delivering those, so if you guys keep your hands up, that'd be super helpful. A couple of the housekeeping items that are going to be relevant to that brochure. If you look inside, you'll find the app to the Brella app, and you'll find some other information on scheduling and things like that. Now, the Brella app is an extremely effective way to get in contact with the startup companies you're going to be seeing later today, and with the other colleagues and the other corporates. Right? I cannot tell you enough how important it is to meet the other people in the ecosystem. I saw a lot of hands up today earlier when Syed was asking who was new to Plug and Play. So if you really want to dig in, if you really want to figure out how to utilize the platform as best as possible, download that Brella app, set up some meetings, interact with the ecosystem, things will be going well. The other thing I wanted to mention that behind here, the startup companies will all have their booths and little tables set up back over here. So after the first sessions and during our breaks, you guys will be able to find the startup companies at their desks in the back room. You can walk around Plug and Play. There will be people to show you how to get there. Now, I know it's kind of been a bit of a long morning, so I'm going to give everybody 3 minutes not to leave. You can stand up, stretch your legs out a little bit, and introduce yourselves to the people around you. I promise you they're interesting. So you have a 3-minute quick standing stretch, and then we're starting with our first startup company. Do not even think about everybody getting up and leaving. All right, everybody. You don't want me to send an angry Trisha after you guys, so this is in all of our best interest. All right, well, thank you for everybody getting seated. So now we're going to start the next section of our event today. This is where the startups will be presenting. I think all of you are pretty familiar with this. We're doing 3-minute presentations. It will be quick. The point of this is to get an idea of what they're working on and to follow up with them after the presentation. So take notes, make reviews, follow them up. This will be an important time. A lot of this stuff will be recorded as well, so you will be able to go back and watch these presentations a second time in the future. All right. Our first startup company, Chisel AI, uses AI and machine learning to turn unstructured documents into structured data that you can extrapolate new values out of. I have some fun facts here as well. It says here that you were almost eaten by a polar bear in Canada. So I guess that finally answers the question of what you would do for a Klondike bar. All right. Please welcome Chisel.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. My name is Ron Glosman, and I'm the CEO and founder of Chisel. And yes, we are from Canada, and I have seen polar bears. But I want to tell you a different story, a story from about 5 years ago. I was a student at the University of Waterloo, which a lot of people consider sort of the MIT of Canada. I was studying computer science and business, and I thought, wow, studying is really inefficient. Textbooks are like 1,000+ pages. The final exam is 10, and if you do the math, like 99.9% of it never shows up. So I thought, what if I can teach a computer how to read and extract information and actually create a one-page summary per document? That's what I did. In about 2 weeks, it went viral, 33+ countries, 44 of the top universities. We're talking Princeton, Stanford, Harvard, Yale, Russia. Problem is, students don't have a lot of discretionary income, and so about 2.5 years ago, we pivoted, and we now focus on teaching computers how to read, specifically for insurance. And what we do is we help both brokers and carriers digitize and standardize their processes. And the last thing to note is we raised the second largest seed round in Canadian history last year, the biggest since 1998, which for some people is a bad sign, so no comments there. And we're going to be raising another round, so investors, please come find me after. I want to talk quickly about insurance. There's a lot of constraints working against us. Probably the biggest one is the users and the customer experience and enhancing it, making it agile, predictive, and customer-centric, rather than it has been the past couple hundred years. Now, there's many different types of AI, and I'm sure everybody's going to talk about it today. So I wanted to give you a box, a very well-defined box of what we do. We teach computers how to read, which is natural language processing. On the other hand, you have robotics, which is Skynet, and we don't really talk about the Terminator. And what we do is we teach computers how to extract information from documents and classify them. Is it a person, is it a place, or a thing? So it looks a little something like this. You can take an insurance binder, a policy, a quote, a submission, a claim form, a statement of values, anything you can imagine, and we'll tell you who are the people, what companies are involved, what locations are they underwriting, what are the monetary figures, limits, deductibles, premiums, any additional information like VINs, health claims, etc. So we have a solution that we've built for carriers. One of our customers works with 3,000 brokers, invested tens of millions of dollars, building a portal that less than 20% of their brokers or agents wanted to use. So we've built a solution that takes a form that looks a little like this, and this form can look one of 600+ different ways, and we pull it out and we map it to Accord. So about 2 months ago, we won the Accord Global InsurTech Innovation Challenge, which gave us the stamp of approval for the best technology in the world for taking claims data and putting it into formats, taking statement of values and coverages that they're requesting, mapping that to XML. Happy to give a demo at the end. Now I have about 10 seconds left. I want to get to brokers. We have a solution which allows you to completely automate a process for checking binders against policies. Last year, we caught $1.3 billion in limits that were subject to E&O claims by our clients. It looks something like this, gives you a general rundown of the information. You then get a checklist that shows you the different exposures. You can actually press a button, and it'll draw a yellow or red box around the mistake right in the policy, and then it gives you a summary of the things you need to fix. Thank you.
All right, and we're started. Our next company is very cool. One of the trends you saw in Ali's presentation was on the usage of process automation and RPA software. Now, our next startup company, Process Gold, specializes in process mining, which is defining what those processes are and understanding the inefficiencies or what you may not know about your processes so that you can actually start implementing impactful RPA solutions. So please welcome Process Gold.
Guten Morgen, meine Damen und Herren. My name is Rolf Kuhn. I'm the founder and chief mining officer of Process Gold. We are a Dutch and a German startup company. And let me start my presentation with a very simple question. Do you really understand your business? Of course you do. But do you really understand the business processes behind your business? If you say you do so, I don't believe you. And let's have a discussion afterwards. The problem is quite simple. It's because of computers we're using, as good as they are. They make processes literally becomes invisible. So you don't really know what's going on, and the question how to find out is quite difficult. And I've been there. I've been a business consultant for IBM for many years, and you know these workshops. You have been there. So you talk to 10 different people in a room over one day, and afterwards you have 20 different processes. And you have the feeling that not everything is totally true. Well, this is about perception and reality. So this is what management thinks, how a very, very simple process really runs. If you talk to the people who are involved, they realize, well, there are different variations. But if you go further, then you realize, actually, that the reality looks like this. And there's a big gap. So what do? We use digital footprints from any kind of IT systems to visually reconstruct and to analyze business processes and reveal the potential risk and reduce risk and increase efficiency. How does it work? Working with computers, you all leave a lot of digital footprints behind. And this data is stored in different databases and log files. And what we do, we first collect all this data. And based on this data, we have activities like register-defined permit or confirmation. We combine the activities with what we call timestamps. So this already gives you an idea about the process. And if you do this for hundreds or millions of cases, then you realize that there are many, many different variations. And probably not everyone is really compliant or efficient. So, Process Gold, process mining is like an X-ray system for your business processes. We gain total transparency, and you see and you finally understand the root of your problems, or at least your business problems. And by doing this, we increase efficiency and reduce possible risk. It's a piece of software, so there are a lot of dashboards. You can upload any kind of data, and it will give you total insight about your process. Well, we are currently working or preparing a couple of pilot projects with some of you guys. Very happy about this. We can talk about it later, what we are doing there. And one of our big customers and partners currently is Ernst & Young. So if EY is your auditor, then you will meet Process Gold. If you like it or not, you have no chance. Because they come in, they just download the data from SAP or any other system, and within minutes, they have the total transparency. So process mining means 100% transparency, 70% time savings, 50% money savings in analyzing the processes, and then, of course, the improvement comes afterwards. I'm here all day long, happy to talk to you. Thank you.
Our next startup company leverages state-of-the-art language context understanding and meaning to build exceptional experiences for your customers and create a continuous conversation that is meaningful and direct with the life cycle of that customer. Please welcome Rosie AI.
Good morning. I am Sudha Megan, the CEO and co-founder of Rosie AI. I welcome you all for a moment to dream with me. Think about a moment in your lives where you had a delightful customer experience, where you were treated very special, looked after, and it felt as if the company cared. At Rosie AI, our mission is to help organizations, insurance brands, build a relationship with their customers that enables them to remember them across their customer journey, across all of their interactions. What we've done is basically imagine how a single continuous conversation can be bridged from when someone's talking about their, say, in property and casualty, their home, their auto, a claims incident, all the while to identifying new coverage. And then from the other end, within an organization, today, with digital transformation initiatives, one of the biggest challenges is that the existing business silos are just getting a little bit taller now at the digital window. What we have envisioned is how companies can create across their different business units, all the while on a single AI fabric that enables an interactive and unified experience for the customer. So how does Rosie AI come to life? We aim to be present where individuals are, where they want to reach out to your company, and enable them to continue a conversation however they would like, say voice, chat, email. Being able to personalize the care and make it contextually aware by connecting to back-end legacy systems and profile sources. Rosie AI can be in action in one of two ways, either self-service and autonomous experiences, or empowering the human support individuals in the ecosystem, agents, service representatives, so that they have the tools. In this past year, we've been able to partner and be able to be recognized for our thought leadership and technology execution, including with the Accord Global Innovation Challenge and with our technology partners and client partners. So kind of getting into a deeper dive. At Accord, we understand language, everything from how people might speak and reach out colloquially through policy documents, medical notes, and claims notes. Being able to then continuously learn by connecting in a plug-and-play framework to other data sources, including event data, such as weather information. And then being able to deliver a natural conversational experience that is not based on preset dialogue flows or preset decision trees, so you can continuously add to the intelligence of an experience. And finally, it's all about how can you deliver in-the-moment care and be proactively relevant. We've been showcased as transcending the standard of AI today in terms of conversational experiences, and showcased as having delivered human-like experiences in relation to the industry average. Our applications are across the customer journey, and we are very much passionate about saying that insurance is very much going to be focused on serving as a risk advisor as well as a payer. So making it all real, here an individual is reaching out, saying that the car backed into them. This is an interface that essentially bridges together voice, messaging, and a visual interface. Being able to connect them with services that might be relevant to their particular journey moment, reading their policy to say whether or not a tow is covered, and then being able to even give them status updates of when that tow is on the way. And then when that individual might be reaching out via email, giving service advisory to that representative, that agent. In the human experience, every act of communication tends to be an act of experience, tends to be an act of translation. And so what we recognize is that context is incredibly important and is supremely relevant in better optimizing the lifetime value of your customers. Look forward to continuing our journey. So we look for client partners and also looking to raise to extend our client delivery. Thank you.
I had the pleasure of getting to know our next startup company on our trip to South Africa, and where they delighted audiences with a lot of very exciting updates about the company. For our next startup, Usher, they are an enterprise workflow acceleration platform that leverages your enterprise data to deliver delightful experiences to your customers on their terms and their native environments. Please welcome Usher.
Good morning. See some familiar faces here, customers. Big shout out to Plug and Play for being such an amazing partner. We actually make your work flow. Just like fish takes to water, we actually can work alongside all of your processes and workflows and accelerate your work. That's basically what we do. We basically service customers through a service engagement platform that can actually digitally transform the journeys for your business. Typically, we work alongside any existing system of record, and we are a combination of a process automation platform that actually delivers the most sophisticated engagement techniques. So a bit about our company. We've been around the block quite a bit since 2014. We raised a Series A earlier this year of $12 million, backed by a leading venture firm here in the Valley. We have Fortune 500 customers. We have a team based out of Silicon Valley as well as Bangalore, India, which allows us to service customers all over the world. And the key expertise that we have is in ontology, machine learning, data modeling, analytics, and mobile customer experiences. Some of the names that you see here are companies that we have done pilots with. There are customers that we have been serving for 3+ years, customers like Unum and GoDaddy and Shire. These are businesses that have been transforming a variety of different types of workflows using our platform. And basically what we do is we deploy artificial intelligence and machine learning techniques together with conversational automation through our linguistics capabilities to help you either make money or save money across a broad set of use cases. And our platform actually can cut through both top-line generating use cases like sales enablement as well as retention experiences for your customers. Fundamentally, not interested if we just deliver a better customer experience for you, right? I mean, you're looking to either improve your KPIs in the form of saving money or making money. So we've been able to deploy our platform and demonstrate 30% improvements in top line, 30% reduction in cost savings, delivering nearly 85% engagement rates, and nearly 70% of the workflows that you have can be automated using the techniques that we have. Our technology is rooted in linguistics, a wide range of language intelligence capabilities. It's a state-of-the-art AI interface that we provide. We can converse in about 60 major languages across the globe. So that allows us to do business with a broad set of customers. We have a zero-code system, which means that you don't need to write a single line of code to deploy our system. And the most important thing, it's a distinction that we bring to the table, is what we call invisible apps, which deliver app-like experiences without asking your end users to download an app. And if there are a few good reasons to pick Azure, it's because of our extensive integrations into a broad set of platforms. And we have rapid deployment abilities. The fastest deployment we have done is about 48 hours. And we have a very comprehensive solution that allows you to be compliant to a wide range of compliance requirements. We are doing a boot camp in first quarter, and we would love to invite some of you. We are a little bit overbooked, but we would love to make room for like 3 or 4 more companies to come and participate in that boot camp. So give us a shout out and look us up, and we'll be happy to serve you. Thank you.
Our next company, EvoShare, is a financial savings platform that helps people save for their retirements by making purchases at local stores or online. Please welcome EvoShare.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose Anaya, and I'm the Director of Partnerships at EvoShare. And what EvoShare is doing is giving employees an entirely new way for them to save for their 401k. For too long, employees have only had one source of money for their retirement savings, and that's been their paycheck. And that paycheck has gone to so many different things that employees have been left with so little to nothing for their retirement. And it's staggering to see that 59% of employees that have access to a 401k plan, they're not using it. And a big question becomes, how do we get these employees to finally take action and overcome that inertia when it comes to saving for the retirement? So our response at EvoShare is to make it as easy as possible for employees to save for the retirement. Instead of asking them to take more money from their own paycheck, which we know they don't want to do, we say, hey, spend as usual at over 10,000 merchants within our network, and we will give you cash back that would be applied to your 401k plan. And it's a powerful message, one that employees have never heard before, and now it's possible for them. So a big part of what we do, as you can imagine, is team up with online and local companies that agreed to giving a percentage cash back every time an employee were to make a purchase with them. So we're partnered with top companies like Target.com, Walmart.com, Expedia, eBay, more than 1,500 online companies that can give up to 20% cash back per transaction. And we've also partnered with over 8,300 stores and restaurants nationwide, where you can go in, make a purchase, and receive between 5 to 10% cash back to your retirement plan. So how does EvoShare work? Each employee would have their own user account, and if they want to get cash back at a participating local business, all they need to do is link their existing debit or credit card with Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. And they just walk into a participating restaurant, bar, store, swipe their card, and within seconds, they'll get the cashback amount that they were promised. And if they want to get cash back at an online business, we've got a portal in place where they can log in, click on the logo of a company, but we understand that people don't want another portal to have to log into. We've developed a set it and forget it experience where an employee can install our browser extension, and while they're browsing the web, we will remind them where they can get cash back for their retirement. So employees would earn cash back, and we have a proprietary process around applying the cash back to their 401k plan. Our go-to-market strategy is to partner with companies that service employers and employees, and there are a lot of benefits that we can offer, from increasing assets under management, participation, but I know what's most exciting to our partners and companies is the touch points that we can offer with consumers. We can actually allow you to customize our platform, co-brand it, and make it your own, and utilize our touch points to upsell people, to educate them, and differentiate your offering. And along those lines, we've actually been able to partner with the fastest growing registered investment advising firm in the nation that will be servicing 500,000 employees in 2019, and they'll be making this available to them. There's a strong team backing what we're doing at EvoShare. Thank you for your time. I would be very happy to talk to you in more detail.
You know, it's funny. One of the questions that Ali and myself like to ask people frequently is, how did you get into the insurance industry? And there's a couple of answers that are pretty common, but I hear the most frequently is that, well, my company was willing to pay for my actuarial degree. Well, our next startup company is helping solve the student debt crisis problem by helping employers offer student loans as a benefit to help attract and retain great talent. Please welcome Peanut Butter.
The market for talent is hot. After decreasing steadily for each of the last 8 years, unemployment in our country just reached its lowest point since the 1960s. And job hopping is on the rise. So what are insurance carriers to do with an aging workforce, a need to bring in new actuaries, new salespeople, new IT professionals? Well, 44 million of the most sought-after workers in our economy are encumbered by student debt, a lot of it. In the last 15 years, student loans have outpaced disposable income 5 times. It's become incredibly burdensome for the people who hold this. Now, Peanut Butter makes it easy for your company to differentiate in the market for talent and attract college-educated workers. With student loan resources, your team members gain access to all of the tools they need to manage their student debt. And with student loan repayment, your company can contribute directly toward your employees' loans. We provide a digital solution that facilitates enrollment, loan verification, payment management, and support. Surprisingly, companies are not competing for talent on how much they offer in student loan repayment, as they're competing for talent on whether they offer the benefit at all. So modest contributions lead to a meaningful impact and significant employee engagement. Every month, we deliver a consistent, positive, and quantified reminder to your employees that helps them understand the good that your company is doing for them. And there's a payback. Employers are able to attract talent significantly faster because 2/3 of job candidates say they'd be absolutely more willing to accept an offer that includes student loan repayment. Our clients are seeing this every day. Rise Interactive was already an Ad Age Best Place to Work when their COO said student loan assistance has been a huge recruiting tool for us. It's been a boon for us finding talent. On the other end of the talent spectrum, college-educated millennials say that they'd be willing to stay at a company 36% longer when they receive student loan repayment. So you can avoid or defer the cost of lost productivity, rehiring, and retraining, just like Medix has. Today, we serve employers across the US, including publicly traded companies like Ceridian, Bridgepoint, BioTelemetry, as well as large financial institutions like Rabobank. What's unique about our company is that we've been built from the ground up to serve employers. We deliver a solution that's easy for each employee and for your HR department to use. Your company's program can be up and running today in under an hour. It's our solution, which is why we've been chosen by leaders in human capital management that now distribute us to their own clients. Experts forecast that student loan assistance will be a ubiquitous benefit within the next 5 years. And into your industry, it may be table stakes well before that. I'm Dave Aronson, CEO of Peanut Butter. We'd like to make it easy for your company and potentially your clients to offer student loan assistance as a benefit. Thank you.
Our next startup, Remitrix, leverages the machine learning tools and access to other tools like AI to improve the predictions of risk and help your actuaries build better models. Please welcome Remitrix.
Clicker. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Effie Moore. I'm CEO at Remitrix. A year and a half ago, I approached some of my colleagues, and I came up with the idea of establishing a risk platform for insurers. And the basics of that idea was I saw the many setbacks and large amount of time and work that actuaries and risk managers both do together to come up just with one number, which is called capital requirement. So I understood then that we have to come up with something much more efficient than the tools that the risk managers and the actuaries use today. So that's why I established Remitrix. So Remitrix helps insurers to manage their financial and actuarial risks. And above all, it also harnesses the power of machine learning to better address the prediction and the capital requirements. So I can tell you much about our team with an extensive experience of over 70 years in all disciplines of risk management and actuarial and software development in risk management softwares, platforms, and also Dr. Moni Shahar, which is a vast experience in machine learning. But above all, I want to show you the new platforms that we already built for one of our customers in Israel. And it makes a significant difference when you come to use this platform, not only because the use of machine learning, also because the use of the techniques of dashboards that make your life as a risk manager and an actuary much easier. You don't need any longer to use Excel files and to talk to your teammates. You, as a manager, you can take this platform, have your data well organized, and you can build your own reports to submit them to your board of directors. As a manager, no need for your employees to do that for you. So there's a bunch of things that we can do which relates to asset exposure, risk management, market risk, actuarial risk, and it all can be done through this platform. Our support is also live, online, and accessible to you throughout the platform. You don't need to pick up the phone to call anyone. We just support you directly through our AWS platform that is actually Amazon Web Service. So one of the major things that we already spoke about before is the machine learning solution that we provide. And we already managed to conclude the first results of our POC that relates to prediction of claims. and also Lapsus models. And we are calling you to join our journey to keep continuing to do these things. And you know, the one thing that I can tell you is I know that many of you are afraid of starting a new way for approaching these methods of machine learning. So all we can tell you that we can start this journey step by step, which really is the stuff like the platform that I just introduced to you. And these things are related to materials that you already be working with. So once you get used to the platform and get familiar with yourself, which is really easy to access to, then you can go on to much deeper understanding of those solutions. So we have quite a simple business model for each of our models, be it a financial, actuarial, or the machine learning models, and they can be all combined together for your service. So I'm here for you today, back here, and you can approach me, VCs or any customers. Thank you for listening.
Our next startup company, Friendly, uses AI and machine learning to automate the claims processing in life and health industries and structuring that data so that it can be acted on much faster. Please welcome Friendly.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Natasha Alexeyeva, and I'm the founder and CEO of Friendly. Before starting Friendly, I spent almost 15 years in the industry, working as the leading data scientist at organizations such as DARPA, Nielsen, Visa, Amazon, and Kaiser Permanente. I started Friendly with a grant from Stanford University about 4 years ago. Our chief technology officer is also a veteran in the Valley. Last year, he won Google Brain competition, which named him one of the best artificial intelligence experts in the world. We now have a small but very, very fast-growing company. There's 15 of us. We are comprised of data scientists, software engineers, and customer success professionals. We have very good references from life and P&C customers. And right now, we are funded by revenue, and we are raising our first round. It's important to mention that we have been evaluated against our very well-funded competitors, and we are consistently more accurate. So what we do is pretty simple. We digitize your paperwork. We take claims or new business documents or anything else, and we provide structured output. We focus on documents. We can process any documents, really, but our claim to fame is being able to process files that have handwritten text, hand-printed text, low resolution, no template, whatever you have. After the digitalization, we also provide some analysis. We can identify claims that are incomplete, we can index them, and we can even do some auto-adjudication on some products. Our deployments are done in the cloud and on-premise. We can actually physically ship you a deep learning machine, and you can get started without having to go through any security reviews. How it works, again, very simple. You load documents in whatever format you have. You get the structured output out. We have a masking technology that you can optionally use to hide all personally identifiable information. And then you can perform analysis on this data, such as auto-adjudication, incomplete data, and many others. Here's how our technology is currently being used. Here's an example of a group life benefit that we've built with one of our P&P corporate partners. Essentially, we take accident claims, we digitize them, and we provide some analytics on them with the idea of eventually completely auto-adjudicate these documents. Here's another example with the stop loss for insurance. Again, as you probably know, reinsurance has tons and tons of messy medical documents. We take them, digitize them, and extract all the important information. And lastly, some of our clients just throw any paperwork they have at us, templates, handwritten, hand-printed, whatever you have, we take it, and we'll provide the interface, such as like that, with all the data digitized and all the information extracted. We are here because we want to work with you. We are growing very fast, and we want to grow even faster, and we need you to work with us. And with that, I thank you very much.
So our next startup company, LifeGnome, is an AI genetics platform for the health and wellness industry. Now, this is interesting. It says on here that the co-founders are hailing from 4 different nations, and that if you can predict or you can guess which 4 they're from, you'll get a free DNA wellness kit. So pay attention. Who do we tell? Ask LifeGnome. All right, welcome, LifeGnome.
Thanks. Actually, the part that was missing is these 4 different nations have all threatened to annihilate each other in the past 70 years in one way or another. So that actually makes it even more interesting. So my name is Ali Mostashari. I'm the CEO of LifeGnome. I'm here to present our X-Health Connected Life and Health platform. But first, a kind of an overview of how we got here. LifeGnome was created, co-founded, by 2 people, myself, Dr. Raya Khanun, a Weizmann PhD and a top 25 cited scholar in computational genomics, and myself, an MIT PhD and a top 25 cited scholars in complexity science. And it got founded in Dean and DeLuca. I don't know whether we owe them a commission, but after the second coffee refill, we were pretty excited about it and went from there. The resulting engine that we created is called Genomics AI, our own trademark. And is calibrated over 530,000 patient data and can predict over 1,500 health and wellness traits. The way we have leveraged this is basically to work with, we're a B2B company working in different verticals, in particular within the insurance sector. We're working with Zurich on a pilot that is for connected wellness, but also serving as a basis for an initiative to do precision underwriting, so on a group level. And we've kind of gotten very much like the previous company, we've gotten to a $12 million booked revenue without any funding round before. We're going to be raising funds soon. Now, one of the things that I'm going to talk about is our platform, X-Health platform for connected wellness. And the way generally life insurance in particular works is currently there's a quote. That's when the interaction occurs between the company and the clients, and then while you're charging them premiums, and then you pay out at some point, not even the same individual, but their beneficiaries. Whereas Connected Wellness has a huge way of having you interact with a generation that actually believes that they have to be connected. So you were talking about a digital generation. So being their partner in health is actually a lot better than to be their partner in death. We use DNA data, wearables data, and lifestyle data using apps to help people with nutrition, diet, fitness, stress management, prevention of chronic diseases, and sleep. And we map those to actual indexes of life expectancy and health-adjusted life expectancy on a personalized basis. And then we aggregate that as a group and share it with the information with the insurance companies. There are big opportunities for pilots, like the one we have with Zurich Re, which are 4 to 12-month pilots with 500 to 1,000 participants. And it includes the DNA kits, the wearable devices, the assessments, the AI coaching, and everything else. Would love to talk to you about it. Either find me Umbrella or we're going to have a table in the back. Would be lovely to talk to you. Thank you.
I need that as well. Thank you. This is a really interesting one. Definitely hits home to me. Our next startup company, Neurocern, specializing in helping insurance companies understand claims and the risk associated with Alzheimer's disease. So please welcome Neurocern.
Good morning. As a board-certified neurologist, I have mission to de-risk dementia. You see, the patients that I would see in my clinic represent the growing dementia population worldwide. Smart insurance and reinsurance companies recognize the need for digital tools like NeuroCern to help assess the risk and not only manage this population moving forward. Dementia actually impacts your blocks today. Actually, about 50% of your reserves are directly or indirectly impacted by this disease. That's because neurological conditions like dementia actually are one of the top 3 reasons of mortality worldwide. As you can imagine, this has a trickle-down effect on claims processing, underwriting, and even actuarial modeling. Now my side of the story. So dementia is actually quite complex to diagnose. Alzheimer's disease represents just one type of dementia. There's actually more than 15 types, each with varying degrees of costs and mortality. Primary care doctors are not trained to diagnose dementia during their medical education, and their accuracy rates are actually quite poor. Dementia neurologists like myself represent 1 of 1,000 in the world, and I'm the only one in insurance medicine today. But that's a good thing because I think about risk like you do. So our solution is actually a digital dementia expert system. It starts off by a front-facing proprietary risk assessment that's modeled off of a clinical interview that an expert would do. But it's all about what's under the hood. Predictive analytics and AI algorithms power a suite of products. The first product being a claims processing engine where we help insurance companies auto-adjudicate claims faster and more accurately. Automated care plans help insurance companies engage with their end customers, and an underwriting calculator helps assess reserves ahead and also create new dementia insurance products. It's all about product market fit, and for investors, it's also about total market size. So we've taken our claims processing engine, our first product, and we're going live with 2 carriers in long-term care insurance today. As you guys all know, many of them are making headlines. They're looking for ways to auto-adjudicate and look at reserves ahead. Our claims processing engine creates a prior authorization workflow, allowing them to adjudicate claims that are only necessary. Second, our automated care plans help employee benefits engage with their existing clients with elder care benefits, and as well as critical illness, disability, and even long-term care insurance carriers can use these products to scale and engage with end customers. And lastly, our underwriting Neuro Calculator, a proprietary patented calculator, helps life reinsurance, life settlements, and even pension risk transfers assess the risk ahead with their reserves and also underwrite new dementia insurance products. One of our key studies was doing a regression model using 30,000 claims from a medical data lake. We looked at how good were we at identifying the claims that needed further medical verification. We found that we were over 250% more accurate than a typical primary care doctor, thereby allowing insurance companies to save over $1 billion in this market. So it's all about being at the right place at the right time. Last year, I was a speaker at a life insurance conference, and I was quickly contacted by the Society of Actuaries. That went on to then being contacted by over 25 clients in 10 months, and we're going live with 2 carriers in 2019. My team has raised over $50 million in venture capital and has had 2 corporate exits. I'm looking for a strategic partner to scale with, so come find me. Thank you.
Our next startup company, Continuous Biometrics, uses a non-invasive, effortless sensing technology to both authenticate users and monitor their vital signs. Please welcome Continuous Biometrics.
Hi, my name is Max Shatsky. I'm an engineer at Continuous Biometrics, where our goal is to transform the field of preventive healthcare. Our company started after about 10 years of academic research done at Bar-Ilan and Valencia universities, and now being continued by a team of scientists and high-tech experts in Israel, Spain, and US. We filed more than 30 patents. Several have been granted already. We have a good funding. About 3 months ago, we finished round B, which brought the total to 27 million. The money comes from both private and strategic investors. Recently, we launched our first product, and it's ready for clinical trials and collaborations. And what we're looking for is for partnership with the healthcare and automobile industry. So what we have developed is a single platform, completely touchless, which can measure multiple biophysical parameters. Let me run the video. It's an optical-based system that uses laser to scan a full range of body vibrations. It's easy to use, again, completely touchless, has very high precision, and we also provide analytics to track any changes in health status and alert about any potential problems. In terms of the data flow, our sensor collects multiple biophysical parameters and sends them to a cloud. And then we use advanced analytics to monitor for any changes in health and make alerts. Our two primary targets are healthcare, home healthcare, and automobile safety. We started several collaborations with healthcare OEMs and major automobile manufacturers. And we started to run clinical trials in Israel and US. To summarize, what our system provides is complete touchless monitoring for vital signs, heart, respiration. We can do user authentication. We can monitor heart and lung sounds. We can measure blood pressure, can monitor muscle activity, and many other parameters. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Our next startup company, Spire, is an invisible health tracker that integrates directly into your clothing to provide continuous clinical-grade monitoring. Please welcome Spire.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sonia, and today I'm going to be talking about Spire's vision for continuous real-time health monitoring. We believe that a standardized platform for continuous health data will dramatically improve healthcare by improving outcomes and reducing costs. We're not the only ones to share this vision, but our approach is unique. We focus on breathing, the only autonomic function under voluntary control that can also impact mental health and physical health. By focusing on the breath, we're able to tackle complex diseases such as COPD and asthma, but also everyday issues like poor sleep and stress and anxiety. There are several challenges with existing remote patient monitoring solutions, namely the fact that wearable devices tend to be clunky and obtrusive. They also require frequent charging, and you have to remember to wear them. If you forget to put it on or you forget to charge it, the device is essentially useless. So we set out to envision what the ideal health monitoring experience would look like. It would be accurate, easy to use, and completely comprehensive. Introducing the Spire Health Tag. Spire Health Tags are slim, lightweight devices that integrate directly with clothing. Simply purchase a pack of health tags, apply them to the clothes that you wear most often, such as underwear, workout clothes, or pajamas, and that's it. Every time you wear that piece of clothing, health tags and the accompanying app will automatically be detecting your health data. The best part is the tags are designed to stick to the clothing semi-permanently. They're completely washer dryer safe and don't need charging for up to 2 years. Inside each health tag are 3 sensors: a proprietary respiration sensor, an accelerometer to track activity, and an optical heart rate sensor. Our proprietary respiration sensor is able to track the complete breath form and actually track each and every breath you take. From this, we've built algorithms to map these breath forms to corresponding levels of tension as well as stages of sleep. We also have an open API to allow us to integrate with third-party applications and offer customization and flexibility. Our device is accurate. We've been involved in numerous peer-reviewed studies showing over 93% accuracy at tracking respiration as compared with an over-the-mouth airflow mask. Our device also lends itself to dramatically longer engagement than anything I've seen before with wearable devices. Over 95% engagement even after 3 months of use. Lastly, we've been involved in over 25 different studies tackling a variety of conditions like stress, sleep, or other respiratory conditions, including one landmark study that we conducted with Stanford and LinkedIn, showing a 27% reduction in employee stress and anxiety. This is not just a concept. We already have a successful direct-to-consumer business, and we're expanding into these 3 key areas. We've sold over 125,000 units of Spire products and are on track for FDA clearance in 2019. If you're interested in learning more or have other ideas, I'd love to hear from you. You can reach me at sonia@spire.io. Thank you.
All right, this is our last startup company before the break, and then we'll have 15 minutes, and then we're back for the second batch. So get ready for our last company. It's quite exciting. The next startup, Vlad, specializes in monitoring life moments and changes in behavior, and then being able to use AI and predictive algorithms to help serve better insurance products that are modular according to the life changes. Please welcome Vlad.
Thank you. I'm Sandro, co-founder and CEO of Vlad. We help insurance companies to make life insurance more attractive and understandable for the end customer, while at the same time reduce the cost side of the insurance company by 70% in the underwriting piece. Not too long ago, my life changed a lot and quickly. To the sad side, I faced a sudden death within my closer family. To the positive, though, my lovely wife gave birth to our second daughter, Julia. Signing the mortgage loan, because we just bought a house as well, we asked ourselves, what is our situation in case of a death or disability? We received a complex analysis and found ourselves in a lengthy paper-based process between us, our bank, and the insurance company. It was in that time that I met Daniel, a true insurance expert. Our client-advisor relations soon became also friendship, and we started talking about business opportunities while cycling together through Switzerland, around Switzerland, our common passion. Daniel and I both questioned the traditional insurance push sales approach, often involving high upfront commissions for long-term and static contracts. So this was the common breeding ground for co-founding Vlad. Meanwhile, we expanded the team to 7 people, 6 different nationalities, including our top-notch American CTO, Frank. So what is Vlad all about? To start with, we offer the end customer a simple way to get a solid understanding of his today's life risk coverage. This includes a complete analysis of available state and employer-specific benefits for death and disability. Then, after a certain income gap has been identified, the end customer has a seamless opportunity to close that income gap today by purchasing the policy or the insurance coverage right away. On the insurance side, this also includes a digital underwriting portal to make this process very efficient. And now, this is my most important point. Vlad does not stop when life insurance has been bought. In our life planning feature, we tell the customer when it makes sense to increase coverage, but we also would let him know when it makes sense to decrease coverage. So typical events that should trigger a change in coverage are events that most of us are familiar with. That can be buying of a house, getting married, getting a child, etc., etc. Flood provides relevant context for the end customer or family to better understand their need and level of risk coverage, their need in their situation and over a lifetime. And to insurance companies, we offer white label solutions that helps them to increase efficiency and effectiveness when it comes to distributing life insurance, be it direct to consumer, via agents or brokers, or also bank assurance channels. Yeah. So thanks a lot for your attention. I will be around, happy to catch up and go into a demo and showing on what use cases we are currently working on. And I'm sure that some Swiss chocolate will manage to sweeten this up a bit. So yeah, happy to catch up. Thank you.
All right, everybody. In classic plug-and-play fashion, we are running about 15 minutes behind. So this is going to be a 15-minute break. We're going to get started here again right around 11:18 or 11:20. Please be here. We're starting at that time no matter what. So have 15 minutes, talk to some people, download the Brella app. We'll see you guys back here in 15 minutes. Thank you. I'm a little bit bitter, as you can tell by the tone of my voice. Me too. So please, everybody, get started and quiet up. All right. So thank you, guys. We're getting started for the second half today. It'll be more P&C focused. We have 15 more startup presentations to get through before lunch. They're all going to be quite exciting and very impressive, covering everything from auto to cyber. So I really tell everybody, download the Brella app, engage with these companies, fascinating startups here on the ground today. And I want to say a quick thank you to Luca and everybody else who's participated so far. All right. So our first startup for the second portion today is a company called Agentiro, which is digitizing and making it far more efficient in the insurance distribution process. Please welcome Agentiro.
Hey there. Hope you're all seated after the break and all the instructions. They should have said that we were presenting, then maybe we would have gotten everybody's attention to sit down and engage. Anyways, here we are. Agentiro, what are we doing? We're digitizing and simplifying the distribution of insurance by developing a platform for independent insurance agents. This is a little bit about the team, about myself and everybody that's putting in all this great work to make this a reality. A little bit about myself. I've been at different firms, McKinsey, Morgan Stanley, also got an MBA from Berkeley around the corner. And I was the first employee at CoverWallet. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them. Basically, they're a SMB digital broker, taking all those experiences and learnings over there to put similar technology in the hands of independent insurance agents so that they too can become more digital. We've got a great early employees and also a very good bunch of advisors and investors. If you are advisor, mentor, interested in helping us out, more than happy to onboard more advisors, especially in the well-connected in the insurance industry. What are we trying to solve? Well, the fact that personal insurance is fundamentally broken, people dislike dealing with it, but hey, they're forced to. And then that insurance agents, they lack technology to better serve their customers and make smarter decisions. So we're putting technology in the hands of these insurance agents and in the hands of these policyholders. What does that mean? We've got a mobile app to manage all your insurances from one place, which for the policyholders, which can be seen like a digital wallet, or to have a holistic view of all your policies. And then agents get an admin platform where they can manage all their customers and grow their book of business and service their customers. This is what the app allows you to do. Manage all your policies, save time and money when requesting quotes, a lot of pre-filled information, data enrichment. And then it also understands the insureds to understand better what their insurance needs are. And basically gives them peace of mind. For the insurance agents, we help them get new business opportunities. We help them increase the customer value through cross-selling and upselling. We help them do better customer service at a lower cost by digitizing a lot of the processes that they do, a lot of those mundane back office tasks. We digitize them. And then we have a very strong data science team looking at predictive modeling, churn prediction, cross-selling opportunities that might lie within their book of business. And basically, with all these advanced data modeling capabilities that we've developed, help them optimize their book of business. That's it from me. If you're a carrier, if you're a corporation, if you have any contact with independent insurance agents, we're interested in talking with you. We would love to help those independent insurance agents become more digital, help you do more business through them, and we'll be right back there. Thank you very much.
Thanks for kicking us off. All right, our next startup company, Fair Claims, helps insurance companies solve first and third party disputes 10 times faster, easier, and cheaper through a suite of digital tools. Please welcome Fair Claims.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephen Kane. I'm the founder and CEO of Fair Claims. I think the biggest problem we face in this world is trust and how rare it is and how none of us trust each other. I'm just speaking in generalities. It's the reason a company like Uber was able to grow as quickly as it did, because what it provided for you was trust. Amazon does pretty well too. People trust Amazon. I had an attorney friend of mine who represented Trader Joe's on a slip and fall case. They were doing voir dire on jury selection. She said nobody believes Trader Joe's could have done anything wrong. That's how people feel about Amazon. You know why? If you have a claim, if you have a problem, they resolve it immediately. That makes people feel good and respected and heard. This is our leadership team. Brian Liu, the founder and initial CEO of LegalZoom, is an investor, as well as Mark Goines, the person who built TurboTax. We work with over 30 marketplace sharing economy companies. These are our biggest customers. Their value props, their ROI is through the roof. We also partner with the Better Business Bureau. I have a call with them next week about an insurance product partnership, meaning not the same as you would say insurance product, but meaning we're going to let people know that the Better Business Bureau thinks it's a good idea to resolve insurance claims quickly. We also partner with the Stanford Codex Center for Legal Informatics. I'm a fellow there. Somehow they gave me a spot to be a fellow there. We're working on a publication about how we can make arbitration available for consumers, taking it mainstream, and how they will opt in voluntarily to use arbitration. They've done it with us. They opt in 60% of the time with Turo, and about 90% of the time with Thumbtack. We also partner with the Marketplace Risk Conference, which is the biggest conference for the sharing economy. And we're now focused on bringing this all to insurance. We've got 3 POCs. They're going better than expected so far. I can tell you all about it. And this is basically what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a middle option between a Google search and asking your cousin and hiring an attorney. Nothing wrong with either. There's nothing wrong with doing it yourself. There's nothing wrong with hiring an attorney. But we're trying to be a different option, and that way people have more things to think about. This is kind of how it works. It's incredibly, incredibly, incredibly simple. We can resolve these claims in minutes to weeks. It's all about just the consumer going on and say, hey, I was hit by a bike. I was hit by a car. I'm in pain. I need a back surgery. The back surgery is going to cost $5,000. I got the back surgery. So now I got the back surgery, $5,000, and I think it's 3x pain and suffering. Can you give me 15? Sure. Talk about it, mediate, arbitration, etc. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right. Our next startup company, Cybercube, has been taking the world by a storm lately. I think you're hearing it left and right. I know I am. So Cybercube, kind of like the RMS of cyber, is a comprehensive cyber analytics platform to help you grow your book of business. Please welcome Cybercube.
Thanks very much. I'm Pascal Miller, the CEO of Cybercube, and we deliver data-driven cyber risk analytics to the insurance industry. 5 years ago, cyber risk was barely one of the top 20 risks on the minds of insurance buyers. But if you fast forward to 2018, it's now the second most important risk on the minds of those that buy insurance, and one of the fastest growing lines of insurance to emerge in decades. Saying that, I think we're just at the tip of the iceberg at this point. Over the next decade, all lines of P&C insurance will be impacted by cyber as a peril, as we have hundreds of billions of IoT devices, automation of industries, and pervasive artificial intelligence. Saying that, there are challenges for insurers to engage in this new risk. They need access to new forms of data, and there are quintillion bytes of data created every day. They need new underwriting tools in order to assess companies, and they need new modeling tools to assess the billions of dollars of liability that they may already have on their books today. And that's where Cybercube comes in. Cybercube's platform allows reinsurers to better understand one of the most important risks of the 21st century. We do that with a platform with applications built specifically for insurers and reinsurers. Our single-risk cyber underwriting platform provides underwriters with more analytics in 30 seconds than they can get from weeks of desk research. And our Portfolio Manager product is the first credible probabilistic cyber catastrophe loss model that allows insurers to understand aggregation risk within their portfolio. We do that driven by advanced analytic models with unmatched sources of data. For example, we partner with CyberCube with Symantec for behind-the-firewall security data. And if you really want to understand phishing attacks, you need to go to the source and understand phishing and email data for one of the world's largest cybersecurity companies. Same with Endpoint. We partner with over a dozen data providers and have best-in-class, cross-disciplinary analytic teams that provide the analytics that the insurance and reinsurance industry needs. As a company, we were incubated as a platform, within Symantec for the first 2.5 years, and as of January of this year, have become a standalone company dedicated exclusively to delivering the world's leading cyber risk analytics to the insurance industry. And we're off to a great start. So far, in our first 9 months of standalone operation, we've partnered with 2 out of the world's 3 largest cyber underwriters, 2 out of the world's 4 largest cyber reinsurance brokers, and 2 of the 3 largest reinsurers in this space. But we're only just beginning. We think this is one of the most critical risks in the 21st century to economy and society. It will change all manner of risk, and therefore all lines of insurance and P&C. And we're really here to be that go-to partner for the insurance and reinsurance industry to really engage and make the most of these incredible new market opportunities. Thanks very much.
Our next startup company, Edmund Insurance, which I actually asked him where that name came from, and he said that it sounded like an insurance company. It's one of Australia's first fully digital insurance, cyber insurance providers, focusing on helping businesses protect themselves from cyber risk. Please welcome Edmund Insurance.
Good afternoon, I'm Chris Lynham. I'm from Edmund Cyber Insurance. We do radically fast cyber insurance for small and medium businesses. This is a very complex graph, diagram that talks about the rapidly increasing prevalence of cyber risk. Small and medium business owners don't understand it, and like us, they don't have time to read it. But they still find themselves in the spotlight, in the media, daily. Despite that, take-up is still low for SMBs. Growth is exceedingly high. And there are new solutions required. Traditional distribution has been there's too much transactional friction, but SMBs are being driven by regulatory change, GDPR, notifiable data breach, and supply chain pressures. Edmund is Australia's first fully digital cyber insurance provider. We can provide SMEs coverage from quote to bind on any device in under 7 minutes. We've managed to partner with some of Australia's biggest corporates in the Munich Re Syndicate at Lloyd's and KPMG, and we're diversifying paths to market. It's empowered by our key digital assets. We strongly believe that you don't ask SMBs questions you should already know the answers to. We built an underwriting algorithm to do that. We laid it on a digital platform that enables them to self-serve and buy cover in minutes. What we have found is that these digital assets have given multiple paths to market. We went live with on our own website in April this year. We're now working with specialist brokers and agents, particularly in affinity sectors. We're working with retail banks in Australia. We're working with financial dealers and franchise groups, as well as managed services providers and IT security professionals to take cyber insurance to SMB customers and do it quickly without the friction. And that's only 2 minutes. Thanks very much for your time.
Appreciate that. Our next startup company, Openly, is a digital insurance company focused on the homeowners industry. They provide independent agents with tools to instantly quote and bind insurance products online. Please welcome Openly.
Hi, my name is Evan Yost, and I'm a senior product manager for Openly. Our CEO, Ty Harris, regrets to not be able to be here today. His wife is pregnant and is expecting any day now. Openly is a new personal lines MGA launching with a homeowner's product. We're a bit unique in that we're trying to win in the independent agency channel as opposed to going direct to consumer. We're currently seeking reinsurer partners and investment for our 2019 launch. Openly is truly insurtech. We have the right mix of both insurance and technology expertise. Our team consists of 3 actuaries, 3 developers, and 1 salesperson. Our CEO, Ty Harris, was the Chief Product and Underwriting Officer for Liberty Mutual's $20 billion personal lines businesses. And our CTO, Matt Wilbit, was the VP of Engineering at Goldman Sachs and has also founded a successful retail insurance agency. We're going to be focusing on the third of the personal lines market that is sold through independent agents. Part of the reason for this is the broker channel is underleveraged. The direct and captive agents are served by the large insurers, as well as the majority of the insurtech MGAs, whereas the brokers, they're served by many smaller, traditionally regional carriers, and maybe 1 other insurtech MGA. This results in brokers too often seeing this, 20+ screens to get to a quote. They also have to deal with outdated technology, complex processes, little product innovation, and the carriers they deal with typically have very high expense ratios. This is unfortunate because we're seeing a shift towards the next generation of agencies, both the standalone digital agencies as well as the large carrier in-house agencies. So we're seeing an increased broker demand for modern carriers. Openly differentiates itself in multiple dimensions in order to meet the needs of the modern broker by providing an innovative product, lightning-fast experience, sophisticated algorithms, and API integration. The end result is Openly can provide you with a bindable quote with only 3 pieces of information: name, address, and date of birth, after which the agent can easily customize the coverage in order to meet the customer's needs. The product team at Openly consists of actuaries using the best data and techniques from both inside and outside of insurance. We're building some of the best insurance pricing models in the world. And we can prove it too, just not in 3 seconds. But this is a lift curve using real insurance data. On the back end, we're creating a reinsurance marketplace that allows reinsurers to pick and choose different granular risk segments in real time. This will help them diversify their portfolio. Openly is pre-seed funded, and we're working on building a world-class team. We've already engaged with 250+ agencies, and some of them are quite large. I would love to talk more about reinsurer partnership or investment. Thank you.
Our next startup company, Block Re, focuses on a suite of solutions, everything from risk management to underwriting to claims for blockchain assets and other blockchain solutions. Please welcome Block Re.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Raymond Zenkich. I'm president of Block Re, and we are insuring the distributed future. I have 3 minutes to deliver 3 messages. First, hope is never a good strategy. For those of you who have crypto assets, you should ask yourself one important question. How much do you really know about the company holding your crypto assets? In an insurance context, this is all about underwriting, and that's where Block Re excels. We believe we have the leading tool set and framework to assess crypto asset custody risk. We think that crypto asset insurance and custody insurance products and services is in its infancy. If you compare it to traditional financial markets today, you can think about the markets, investors, infrastructure, regulation, and insurance. This is roughly a $200 trillion market with assets under institutional custody, most of which has some level of protection against crime, theft, or loss. If you think about the crypto asset institutional market in the state of play today, if you think about the first 3, the markets, the investors, and the infrastructure, we view those as being fairly well developed. You could argue regulation is developed, if not well developed. but importantly, insurance is sorely lacking. The market here is small, no doubt, but it's early. Far less than $1 trillion of sort of premium out there. Much less than that is actually insured today, and we would argue most of it is at risk. That's the opportunity Block Re is pursuing, and this is me having a little bit of fun with PowerPoint to highlight the opportunity. Come on, it's a morning, right? So markets, second message, markets are efficient, but over time. So apart from a handful of marquee policies placed in the insurance market today, we argue is broken. What does that mean? There are few active carriers, massive gaps in underwriting skills, limited capacity, conservative decision-making, and we would argue mispricing. We are addressing, we think, the underserved portion of this market. If you think about two dimensions, underwriting complexity on the y-axis and limits on the lower, marquee policies are getting placed today. We'll think large limits, relatively low levels of complexity, and by complexity here we mean closer to a cyber type of underwriting exercise. We want to go after the rest of the market. Third message, we're addressing this market need. Our vision is to be the leading MGA worldwide, focusing on crypto asset insurance. The market today is small. We think in 2019, far less than 100 million in premium written. Importantly, this is cryptocurrency only in that market projection. And the moment you go beyond cryptocurrencies to crypto assets worldwide, you're now in the trillions. In 6 months since our initial funding, we have a proprietary assessment, survey, and framework, over 18 categories, 500 parameters. We have a loss event database, an actuary model, machine learning to monitor threats globally. We're a registered insurance agency in multiple states. We have carrier engagements. And to my partners in the audience, we're looking for additional carriers. We have wholesaler appointments. And just yesterday, we submitted a Class 3 insurance application in Bermuda. And we're looking for reinsurers as well. One more thing. Message 3.5. We're looking to raise $3.5 million in our next price round. We want to go to market aggressively, build out our tool sets and data, and look to build a profitable book of business. Thank you.
Our next startup company, BetterDrive, provides on-demand and flexible auto insurance products for those who are looking for last-mile delivery or just regular auto insurance in non-traditional methods. Please welcome BetterDrive.
Hello. Hi, my name is Ravi. We are BetterDrive. Prior to starting to talk about BetterDrive and what we do, let's talk a little bit about what's happening right now in the mobility space. Mobility is changing, and it's changing really fast. In the past 4 years, and particularly the last 12 months, have been really, really exciting. What we're already seeing right now is urban car ownerships are decreasing. That's on an average of about 2.5% in dense urban areas like San Francisco, Boston, Seattle, and all of those places. But we're also seeing that in connection with an increased adoption of rideshare services. Uber and Lyft right now are growing 100% year on year on the number of trips they're serving. Also, in the past 12 months, we are seeing a lot of last-mile transportation solutions taking off. So e-scooters, bike shares taking off. And of course, on the horizon are self-driving vehicles and fleets of self-driving vehicles potentially. And what we're seeing, so in some ways, is this hybridization of transportation modes, which originally used to be, only personal auto, but now we're moving towards hybrid transport modes, which are on demand and it is dynamically priced and all of that. So where's the problem with all of this? The problem is the way insurance works right now is still these 6-month insurance policies and primarily underwritten based on demographic risk factors. And so what we're doing is we're doing real-time contextual risk assessments, which help on-demand dynamic pricing and provide insurance coverage for, it could be personal auto, for self-driving vehicles, for scooter rides around town, and all of that. How do we do it? We're building these complex AI and machine learning models that assess risk with respect to real-time location, traffic conditions, weather patterns, and all of that. What does all that translate into? We're taking we're taking all of this accident data, combining it with all of this. So we're building these geographical risk maps, if you will, of different localities, cities, counties, intersections, and all of that. And so we are able to understand the risk of different routes and trips taken in different routes. So a trip taken right now from here to San Francisco on 101, we can understand the risk level for that trip with the context of the traffic conditions and weather conditions today. Where are we right now? We're working on some insurance pilots with carriers. We've launched a couple of pilots wherein we're looking at, we're monitoring 1,027 vehicles in the New Jersey area. We're working very actively with rideshare companies. We're also working very closely with last mile transportation companies. And we are also in the process of raising a seed round. So if any of those things are of interest, please come talk to us. Thank you.
All right, guys, I screwed up on that last one. So your orders might be a little bit switched up. We're supposed to have Make You Safe before Better Drive. So with that, we are going to welcome Make You Safe next. Make You Safe is a platform that uses new sources of data like environmental data or IoT data to improve workplace safety and reduce workers' compensation claims. Please welcome Make You Safe.
Thank you, Hutch. I want to get real for a second, because every day on this planet, more than 1,000 people don't go home to their families at the end of the workday because of a work-related accident. In addition to that tragedy, more than $1 billion every single work are paid out on worker compensation claims right here in the US alone on accidents that very well could have been avoided. You see, I grew up around manufacturing. My father was a machinist for 23 years, and for the last 15 years, he's been a safety manager at a facility with more than 1,000 employees. About 2.5 years ago, I was taking a tour of a factory for my podcast on manufacturing when I witnessed firsthand the fear and frustration that comes with the company being audited by a regulatory body because an employee inside this facility had recently lost their hearing. It was that event that inspired me to create a wearable device for gathering environmental and human motion data and to build a software platform we call Make You Smart to be able to provide deeper insights into what's going on in the workplace environment and to ultimately make life for guys like my father much easier. We began testing and sharing our results in 2016, and we quickly began to capture the attention of the insurance industry. We found out through collaboration with carriers that many of these carrier companies have loss control resources that they can deploy to their customers to help reduce the risk of losses in the facilities that they insure. But the problem is that these resources get deployed based on claims. So we showed them that with data, we can be much more proactive in the way that we deploy these critical loss control resources and help them build better relationships with their customers. Our device is designed to gather things like light, sound, temperature, air quality, and other things that lead to worker fatigue and impact the workers' health, their safety, and their productivity. We also track human motion data, and we use machine learning to process that to detect things like slips, trips, and falls. We see commercializing through insurance as one opportunity for us, whether that's offering discounts on worker compensation premiums for companies that deploy the Make You Safe system, or like other carriers who are purchasing product directly from us to provide as a value add to their customers. Now, we've come a long way in 2.5 years. We've tested multiple versions of beta devices. Our production-style prototypes are being tested in facilities today as we scale up for manufacturing, and we've raised about $4 million in venture capital to get this far. But the thing that I'm most proud of as the founder of this company is the dozens of companies that we're working with worldwide who genuinely care about sending their workers home at the end of the day and want something like this to help build a better safety culture. So we're looking for carriers who are interested in building better relationship with their work comp customers. We're looking for carriers who are interested in more effectively deploying those loss control resources. And that can be done whether it's through a pilot opportunity with us or strategic investment. Making the world safer through technology and data is our mission. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Our next startup company, GetMeIns, leverages military-grade computer vision to automate things like damage assessment in auto and reduce fraud, both at the point of sale and in the claim process. Please welcome GetMeIns.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning, gentlemen. I'm Eugene, CEO, co-founder of GetMeIns. 7 out of 10 motor insurance claims fraudulent. And when we're talking about that type of fraud, it's not necessarily all kinds of criminal activity, you know, fraud rings and guys that makes it every day for a living. It's actually, we call it a friendly fraud. It's us who didn't have a couple of small damages on the car, which is not covered by insurance because it's below deductible. Then most of people goes to body shop, bump the damage up, claim insurance company, get the money. Insurance company doesn't have any idea how to tackle that type of fraud. And Aviva, Canada, took it personal. They went for a 1-year undercover investigation, and they came up with a very scary number, that not 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10 cases, and they proved it empirically, that were involved fraud. 57% was bumped up damage. In the end, what they said, that should be a completely new approach for claim processing in motor insurance, because we don't make money. So how can you tackle that type of fraud? It's a million of people claiming insurance company. You don't have fraud rings. You don't have criminal records. We decided to go 170 years back in time, when the first time in forensics, human fingerprint was used as a matching device, because it's a very unique identifier. So GetMeIns is reinventing fingerprint approach by applying it to car damage matching. By using even a single photo, first of all, we identify car, make, model, principal color, submodel, and this is all byproducts. But the core technology, we mark each and every damage that exists on the picture. We recognize it, and we build a very unique digital signature. We call it a fingerprint or damage print that cannot be faked. And then signature analyze it, match to repository. If the match is found, it's 100% fraud. If the match is not found, it's a legit claim. We process with the cost assessment for insurance company. Few words about our approach. We have a very unique hybrid approach. It's a deep learning combined with engineering approach, which gives a very high level of confidence. We're not giving a probability to insurance company, either it fraud or not. We give false positive. And we believe that we build a very new standard in insurance world, not just another product. Thank you so much. And this is us. All of us coming from, we all ex-military, ex-insurance, ex-technology. We bring all these 3 worlds. It's a fusion of these 3 worlds that makes our company, our team, the best to make the job. 3 weeks ago, we went live. We having a pipeline of pilots, finalizing these days with one of the biggest claim settler in Europe. 15th of December, we starting pilot with the biggest Chinese, one of the top 5 Chinese insurers. And that's us. Thank you. And if you want to speak to me, I'm going to be in my booth.
No bumper?
No bumper.
I don't know if you guys saw his last presentation, but during selection day, he actually dragged a bumper on stage with a hammer and demoed it. So I appreciate you being more time sensitive. So our next startup company, CyberFence, is a cloud-based cyber insurance platform that helps you assess both third and first-party risk while also taking the next step to mitigate that risk. Please welcome CyberFence.
Hello, my name is Thomas Snow. I'm the CEO of CyberFence. We are a team of domain experts who have come together, and these guys can actually take a big idea and take it to market very, very fast. What we've done is we've started by eliminating the expense of a cyber assessment, not only for a company, but for its entire supply chain. And that allows us to do two things. One, it aggregates risk class and identifies companies that share the same vulnerabilities. We package this into a report or an app for brokers. And the way they access this is that they type in a company name and an email, and they get this report. This is the basis for a risk-based conversation that then leads to a policy sale. This has been so successful and so effective. Since 45 days of launch, we've acquired 12,000 companies. This has opened our eyes to two things. One, we're going to launch in the next couple months a marketplace. This is the Alibaba and Amazon of cyber. Since we intimately know the security and compliance gaps of every company in the supply chain, we'll be able to match them with solution providers from around the world so they can add their value. We'll also generate quotes and bind online. Now we're continuing to open our channels, and one of those is a national cyber registry for the United States, which will be sponsored by the insurance commissioners of each state. That'll roll up into a portal so that state and federal agencies can then check the eligibility of cyber readiness of every government contractor in regulated industry. The way we're going to capture and retain customers is with a disproportionate upfront value. One, the free assessment. Then we're going to match cyber solutions and in volume drive price down. Then we're going to double down and give them continuous prevention coaching. And then last, which is the most important, we're going to show them proof of ROI that they can take to their next contract negotiation and say, hey, I am quantitatively better than my industry peers. Our roadmap forward, we're moving very, very fast. So we're going to quote and bind in the next 45 days and then open up the marketplace. If you are a insurance carrier that's giving out capacity, we'd love to talk to you. If you are an advisor who likes to get their hands dirty, we want to talk to you. If you're a motivated and visionary investor, I definitely want to talk to you. This is our team. Again, my name is Thomas Nemo. Thank you for your attention.
Our next insurance company, Broker Buddha, specializes in the buying and selling and streamlining the processes of all things related to commercial insurance. Please welcome Broker Buddha.
All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason Keck, and I'm the CEO of Broker Buddha. As a serial entrepreneur and the father of two beautiful girls, I have learned that the things that you believe in say a lot about who you are. And so this morning, I'd like to share with you all a couple things that I believe. Number one, I believe that PDFs were designed for printing, not as a way of exchanging information between two companies, which is how the industry works today. Number two, I believe that the only way to get more value from the same set of resources is by investing in technology. And number three, I believe that you're going to have a hard time remembering what every company here today does. But I think you're going to remember something about us, and here's why. Because in less than a year, we have digitized over 50 insurance products across 150 carriers. And 4 of the top 10 brokers in the country are using our platform to access those carriers already. Those brokers represent over $20 billion in annual premium, which is almost 10% of the entire commercial P&C industry. By a quick show of hands, let me know if you work for a carrier or a company that does some form of underwriting. All right, good. We got the right audience. Second question. Raise your hand again if you've put at least one insurance product online through an API or a portal. Not as many, but still a few. That's good. Portals and APIs are great for two reasons. Number one, they reduce all the back and forth with your brokers because the technology ensures that you get a completed application up front. Saves you time. Number two, They prevent you from the pain of having to manually enter all that data into your systems. They're great. So, one last request. For those people who raised their hands earlier, how many of them have put all of their insurance products online? All right, that's what I thought. Why? Because it's time-consuming and expensive. The ROI just isn't there. With Broker Buddha, we can digitize your applications in one day and integrate with your systems in less than a month. And since we all know that time is money, I guarantee we can do it more affordably than any other option you've considered so far. Here's how our technology works. We take ACORD forms that everybody knows and loves, and carrier supplementals, which brokers know and they hate. And we identify every question on every form. We identify the way questions are grouped and organized. We identify questions based on logic. And then we identify common questions across applications. And then we generate interactive, user-friendly online smart forms, which agents and their clients can use to gather information and produce signed documents for quoting and binding coverage. We're doing for commercial insurance today what TurboTax did for the tax industry. And with the launch of our new submission platform, we're fast becoming the new operating system for the entire commercial insurance industry. So if you hate PDFs as much as I do, I'd like to invite you to help me get rid of them. And if you have at least one insurance product that you want to put online quickly and affordably, send me an email at jason@brokerbuddha.com. Thanks.
Our next startup company, Bima Broker, is an on-demand insurance platform to help small commercial businesses manage their insurance policies. Please welcome Bima Broker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tammy Mission. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bima Broker. Small business owners have struggled with figuring out business insurance for a number of years, and as millennials are becoming business owners, this problem is only getting worse. Millennial expectations on how to do business are vastly different from former generations. Millennial decision owners prefer chat-based communication. They demand software to manage their policy information. They want educational content and overall ease of doing business. So how does Bima Broker solve these problems for our millennial entrepreneurs? We've created a client-centric solution where we combine insurance expertise and software to manage and leverage a new insurance experience. We explain all business insurance in layman's terms, which makes our clients feel more comfortable and empowered in decision-making. We also sorry about that, I'm having a brain fart this morning. So we're explaining the coverage in layman's terms. We're also allowing our clients to be able to chat with a licensed broker, so they're getting their questions answered quickly and efficiently. We also are educating our clients in a new and engaging way that is helping them actually learn coverage instead of always feeling like insurance is such a drag and something that they don't understand. From our client dashboard, clients are able to see all of their policy information, they're able to request a certificate of insurance, they're able to start a new claim, and they're also able to learn about new coverage. Over the past few months, we've been able to partner with some of the largest carriers in the country. The reason why they've selected Bima Broker to partner with is our insurance expertise and our deep understanding of our target market. They also believe in the value that Bima Broker is providing business owners. Bima Broker is a one-stop shop for all business insurance needs, meaning we sell multiple policies. On average, our clients are purchasing up to 3 different insurance policies from Bima Broker. What we've learned from our clients in the past few months, the most interesting thing here is 57% were grossly underinsured and 29% were completely uninsured. The most common reason we found for this is that their traditional broker didn't understand their new business model and they weren't educating them on additional coverages. So this is a major gap that we've identified. There is a huge gap in educating first-time buyers, and it's something that traditional brokers tend to struggle with in the micro and small business segments. In a short period of time, we're going to be able to find a loyal following of millennial entrepreneurs. When we interviewed them, some of the reasons why they love working with us is because we understand their business model. We're able to communicate with them effectively. We're also able to make insurance more engaging, something that they haven't experienced before. And we're able to educate them on their blind spots and where best ways on how they can protect their business. We're starting our seed fundraising in January. So if you're interested to learn more, I'd love to talk to you. Here's my contact information, and thank you so much for your time. I'll put that back up. Thank you.
Our next startup company is Stated. Has a suite of tools and solutions helping the real estate industry, backed by one of the world's most comprehensive databases of online property data. Please welcome Stated.
So not only the real estate industry, but the insurance industry, obviously. So we are Stated. I'm Tony Casson. I'm the head of product. And our comprehensive nationwide coverage of U.S. property data really does power the insurance industry in terms of ability to generate quotes and the applications that you yourselves out here are building. And this is one of the things that I found really amazing in my journey here. It's how much innovation I see happening in insurance. 20 years in the internet has taught me one thing, and that is that information wants to be free, as in speech, of course, not as in beer. And yes, we've made some mistakes in the internet over the years, many of them widely publicized in the news, but overall, the net benefit to our lives and our economy has been incalculable, and it's really great to see the insurance industry and all the startups embracing innovation like some other 100-year-old businesses are not. So what we're here to do for you in insurance is to power your workflow and minimize your risk. All the different things you can do with this rich property data set we offer: applicant validation, protection class data, underwriting, lead generation, automate your quoting. Use our data as your own algorithm fuel. That's what we're doing with the Stated data APIs. So one of our huge differentiators, I think our biggest differentiator, again, is the ease of access to our data. We have 90% national coverage at this point. We'll be at 100 by the middle of next year. You're up and running in 5 minutes with our API. That's enter your email, we'll get you a key, we'll show you the data. More than 120 up to 200 different data fields per property. All the critical components that you need to power your insurance application. So delivery methods vary. Of course, I mentioned the API. We also offer bulk data services, match and append services, and custom bespoke property reports, which are ready to white label. Our pricing model is dead simple. It varies from 3 cents a call all the way down to less than 1 cent a call for our enterprise program. Critical here is we're here to power your application with our data. That means we offer you the data you need, only the data you need, exactly when you need it. There's no expensive upfront costs in subscribing to national data sets. You get just what you need when you need it at a very, very affordable price. All plans start with 100 free calls. Get started today. I'm Tony Casson. I'm head of product at Stated, and I'd love to talk to you. Thanks.
Our next startup company, Planner, uses AR, VR, and computer vision technology to automatically map any room in a house in real time for damage assessment and property claims. Please welcome Planner.
Planner is an interior virtual claim solution powered by augmented reality and computer vision. So there's a cascading set of costs associated with claims. A typical $10,000 home property claim has about 16% of that go to loss adjuster expenses. Customer sat is impacted as well because it's hard to get people out there. There's a lot of time to get a loss adjuster on site. And some of the stats are saying that 30 to 40% of existing licensed adjusters are going to age out in the next 3 to 4 years. And so we're going to create other situations like we had in Harvey where people were waiting 2 to 3 months for their loss adjuster to come out. These adjusters are having to do 5 to 6 claims a day with antiquated technology like paper, pencil, tape measure, and laser. And what's actually happening is when they do 5 to 6 a day, it's actually creating inaccurate estimations. I'm going to give you a true story as part of some of the things I've seen in the past 2 months. A friend of mine has a rental house in Austin, Texas, $250,000 rental house. Lightning struck the roof, burned out the roof, the trusses, and inside. She got an external estimate for $150,000. The adjuster came in after a couple weeks and basically gave him a check for $60,000, okay? And so obviously that wouldn't cut it. So 4 weeks later, another person came by, spent the entire afternoon there, and ended up cutting her a check for $200,000. So 2 visits, this is a true story, 2 visits, and they overpaid due to some customer satisfaction issues. So there has to be technology that can help this. Otto's using it. Outside the home is using drones and computer vision. So we are using a smartphone and smartphone-based technology to be able to scan the rooms and be able to automatically generate the information needed to settle these claims, okay? So a person just goes in, uses computer vision and their smartphone, no extra hardware, and they can scan these rooms. And we generate outputs such as 3D models, embedded pictures, to give them more of the context. So after they've done 5 claims a day, they can go home and they can look at all of this information and they can remember, oh, I was in this room, this is what I saw, and therefore, you get more accurate estimates. So over the last 2 months since we entered the batch here, we've been doing trials with carriers, TPAs, and independent adjusters, and what we've seen is we can save over 50% of the time on site with the same amount of accuracy. In addition, we can save, without an integration right now to an estimation software, which we're working on, we can save up to 10 to 15% on the back office efforts. That means 40% reduction in claim time. So these are massive numbers on industries that are struggling for a couple percentage point improvements. And we also improve the payouts. So more accurate payouts, as my example demonstrated. This opens up other business models such as rolling out inspectors, so non-licensed adjusters, as well as self-service models, which they do for auto as well as outside the home. So let's do it for inside the home. So if you are a property and casualty carrier or TPA, love to chat with you. I'll be back in the demo room or probably in line for the buffet. All right, thanks everyone.
Our next startup company, Plumis, has a very, very cool water sprinkler that automatically detects where the fire is and puts it out in a fraction of the time with a fraction as much water, reducing both the damage from the fire as well as the damage from the water. Please welcome Plumis.
Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. My name is Yusuf Mohammed, and I am CDO of Plumis. I'm here with my co-founder, William, CEO, and we are reimagining the fire sprinkler for smarter underwriting. Well, why are we doing this? Well, there's a number of problems associated with traditional sprinkler systems. The first one is it's a little known fact that actually they fail 1 in 10 times in the home. And the main reason for that is because there isn't a maintenance manager in place within your home. The second thing is that they're very difficult to install. You can't install them without upgrading your water main or housing a tank. And the third thing, everybody knows, they cause a lot of damage when they activate. Okay, so here's our system. AutoMist Smart Scan is an innovative solution. We mount a spray head lower down on the wall, and we fire a targeted blade of water mist into the fire to suppress it. So we are mounting sensors within your home. We can detect the fire very quickly, and critically, we use 10 times less water than a traditional sprinkler system. Okay, well, how do we address these problems that I talked about earlier? Well, first and foremost, reliability. we look to address this with connectivity. So we have diagnostics built in. We want to integrate with the other smart home devices within your home. We're retrofittable. We use flexible hosing, which means it's very easy to install our product, and we don't have to upgrade your water supply. And water mist, by its very nature, causes much, much less damage. Okay, well, this isn't a concept, it's a proven technology. We've been selling these systems in and around the UK for the last couple of years. We've saved multiple lives, and we're here particularly interested to talk to insurers who are protecting high net worth individuals and anyone with connections to modular home builders. We've had some great conversations with home builders because they love the idea that they can build the system in the factory, and when they get on site, they don't have to be concerned about municipal water. We're here in California because it's a great fit for us. There are regulatory drivers. It's mandatory in single and multi-family dwellings here in the States since 2011 to have sprinklers installed, and our product is cost comparable with a traditional sprinkler to do that. Okay. So the critical thing here is that sprinklers are as integral to buildings as the walls themselves. So it's a really interesting vehicle to develop a relationship with the homeowner. So when the choice is 19th century, that's when the sprinkler was invented, plumbing technology that even in the best case is going to cause a lot of damage, and smart home infrastructure where we can deliver value, it's a no-brainer. So thank you very much for listening, and please come and find me. We'll have a chat.
All right, everybody. We have one last startup company coming up shortly. But as a quick reminder, on the backs of all of your badges, you'll find links to the voting system. The voting system is now open. Please vote on the startup companies that seem the most impactful to you. There will be an award at the end of the day. So please check the back of that badge, and use that link on your phone or your computer, and you guys can vote for which companies seem to be the most impactful for you. With that, we're going to move on to our last startup company, Water Hero, which has quite an advanced water monitoring device for your home that can shut off water and detect leaks. It can reduce your water and save money, and it can text you and let you know when there's problems with your home. So please welcome Water Hero.
Great, thanks so much. Hi, I'm Dan Sterling, founder and CEO of Water Hero, and I'm a recovering burst pipe victim. I had a third-floor toilet break. Water ran all weekend. It did $100,000 worth of damage. We had to move out of the house. Months of disruption. It's a nightmare. So I asked my insurance agent, there's got to be technology like my Wi-Fi thermostats to prevent this from happening again. It turns out in 2013, nothing like that existed. So being a serial entrepreneur, I decided to build my own. So fast forward to 2016, we were the first smart leak detection device to commercialize, and we're solving two major problems. One is water damage is a $10 billion a year problem for the U.S. insurance industry. It's your #1 controllable claim at about over 30% of claims. And number two is Americans waste 6 trillion gallons of water every year, costing $48 billion. So the solution, Water Hero. So we take a traditional water meter and motorized ball valve. This is proven, robust technology that plumbers are comfortable installing, homeowners are comfortable installing in their homes, but we make it smart with our software and electronics. So if a pipe breaks in your house, we automatically shut the water off. We send you a text message. From anywhere in the world, you can turn your water on and off, and you also get real-time water usage information and temperature alerts right to your smartphone. We have happy customers on 6 continents now, and we also have found that 56% of our customers find at least one water leak within the first 6 months of installing Water Hero. But I want to stress, we are much more than just selling a device. We are a solution company. So our mission is to help you reduce water damage claims. And the approach to doing this is what we call Leak Detection 2.0. The initial approach a lot of companies are taking a simple one-size-fits-all premium reduction. It's just not driving adoption, and it's not reducing claims. So what we do, first of all, is we work in a consultative fashion, and we want to identify your policies by risk exposure for water damage claims and put them into tranches of risk and take a data-driven approach to go for the maximum ROI. Then we also apply our expertise in selling devices and getting adoption and providing premium concierge plumbing and installation of devices so that you can get maximum adoption on a rollout program. And then once devices are deployed, then it's important to have ongoing monitoring and reporting so you know you have ongoing risk mitigation. So we can tell you how many systems are online and work to get the systems that are offline for some reason back online. So the conclusion, a one-size-fits-all approach does not work. You don't get adoption. You don't get claims reduction. What you really need is a highly targeted data-driven approach. You want to take an ROI approach so that you're getting the maximum claims reduction for your spend. And also you want to get nice policyholder engagement and satisfaction. So we're looking for carriers that are serious about claims reduction. We're looking for strategic partners, and we're looking for strategic investors. Thanks a lot, and now it's time for lunch.
All right. That's our last startup for the day. So everybody, if we get a quick hand, all the startup companies are presented. There are a lot of stories of these startup companies coming from all over the world, missing their families, missing their jobs, missing a lot. So they've made great sacrifices to be here, as have all of you. So thank you guys. It means a lot to us. So before we end up the day, we have a couple more things we'd like to talk to you guys about. We are going to have an award to the Corporate Innovation Award. There will also be an award for the startups. So as a reminder, if everybody could go in and vote right now, it would be very much appreciated. If you could use the links on the back of your badges, we will use that to collect all those votes. And in just about 5 minutes, we'll have an award ceremony for that startup company. Now, in the meantime, we do have a quick video we'd like to play for you guys from one of our corporate partners, Aon, who's going to share some best practices on engaging with the ecosystem.
What really seems to turn the corner for us is when we say, we're not going to tell you about a great company, you're going to come here to Plug and Play, and you're going to experience what it is to realize what a great idea something might be. I mean, we look at a lot of companies that are doing new and interesting things around technology, but so often the best ideas are coming from these young, budding entrepreneurs. And whether those ideas ultimately become successful businesses in the context in which we see them, that's a different question. But what's very true and what we've seen from the startup community really consistently is that those ideas survive. Every technology that we have makes another technology more powerful, right? We can go back and look. You go back and look at the early days of the internet, and we wondered about and thought about the power of what that medium could do. But then you look at all the other things that have come along with it, right? You look at the advent of social media, the creation of big data, the idea of the Internet of Things, computational power becoming greater, the idea of blockchain and cryptocurrency coming out. And now you take all those things and you add it to that concept of the Internet, and it made it much more powerful. But it also changed the nature of that thing in and of itself. We're already talking to a number of startups and have a number of proofs of concept and business models in flight with companies we've met with here at PMP. We get the same things that every other company gets when we walk in here. We get exposure to some incredibly novel, incredibly well-designed ideas and approaches using technology that we didn't imagine before, right? We get the opportunity to see that. We get the opportunity to explore that with them. Getting the company here, getting your executives here, getting the decisions maker here to experience the kind of things that most cutting edge people are thinking these great ideas really can create a lot of buy-in. And that can break a lot of things loose when it comes to helping your company move forward and taking advantage of some of this great stuff that we're seeing here. The the insurance industry is not the center of the universe, right? We're not the center of the economy. We are an enabler of the economy. Now, the thing that's going to transform the insurance industry more than the insurance industry transforming itself is the fact that they've got to serve clients that are taking advantage of technologies that are changing the way they're doing business. So here we have to come and discover the kinds of technologies that help us solve new kinds of problems in new kinds of ways. You got to be able to carefully define and understand the kind of company startup that you want to work with so that you're not wasting your time and they're not wasting theirs.
So thank you to Eric for taking the time to put that. Really, really sweet guy, if any of you have time to meet him. So with that, as we're cruising into lunch here, I would like to invite Ali on stage to turn over the Corporate Innovation Award.
Hello. Yeah, so we've been doing these Corporate Innovation Awards to basically appreciate the partners who've been doing it a little bit better than some of the other ones and actually creating value out of our ecosystem. And at the same time, it's a way for us to acknowledge the people that could potentially even share best practices with other ones in the ecosystem. So for this time around, I think the partner that we're going to announce soon, and for the 2 or 3 people who didn't see the glitch when I was doing the opening remark, because we already kind of presented it, this partner has been with us almost since the beginning. They've been a great, great partner to work with. It's been super fun working with them and seeing them grow from a small team of 1, I would say, in that division that is engaged with us to a team of bigger. Last time I checked, there were 6 people. They've actually invested around 14 companies this year, and 4 of them came from our ecosystem. They were very active in the whole InsurTech ecosystem. Not only have invested with the companies, but they actually have done around 18 active pilots this year, which 6 of them have turned into commercial agreements. That's roughly in the 2nd or 3rd year of the, I think, of the innovation journey and setting up the team. And most of the engagement they've done has actually been done through the ventures team, the team that is in charge of the investments and liaisoning with the external ecosystem. Some of the companies they've invested in includes Nexar, Matic, Shore, a lot of companies that we have had in our programs as well. A lot of great companies. And I think the engagement they've created with the business units is also something that I think a lot of folks could learn from. Without talking more, I'd love to welcome our great partner Nationwide to stage. Please give it up for the Nationwide team.
Thanks. Team's coming up. Yeah, so we joined Plug and Play in 2016. That was early days for the Nationwide Ventures team. We've only been around for about 3 years, and the goals are really network with other strategic investors. We wanted to bring business leaders with us to make sure they were taking advantage of the learnings as well, and lastly, of course, to find investments and partners. And it's been great so far. Ollie's right. 4 of the 11 investments we've made to date have come from relationships we've gotten from Plug and Play. We even, I think, recommended a couple companies that we've met within the last year go through the Plug and Play program, so it's kind of coming full circle. Yeah, so thanks so much.
Picture time. Do you have the innovation award? All right. Who's going to hold this? Brian. It's all you. All right. Thank you, guys. And for the next segment, we're still analyzing the votes. I think the votes are finalized. I have the lights in my face, so I don't see anyone from there waving hands at me. Is it finalized? All right. 1 second. It's very live. OK. All right. So we looked at the votes. We have like roughly 400 people here. We got like around 80 votes. Thanks for really participating, guys. Based on the votes, I'd like to announce Rosie.ai as the winner of our awards. Please welcome them on stage. Do you have the award? Of course. Want to say a few words?
Thank you all.
That's it? She's very thankful.
I am incredibly grateful, and as is the Rosie AI team in our ecosystem, for the Plug and Pay ecosystem. These guys are absolutely brilliant. They are incredible facilitators, our greatest advocates and cheerleaders. Also want to really thank our partners to date and everyone else who has served as an advisor, a mentor along the journey. So very excited, very grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And that's basically it from this event, the InsurTech part. We're going to start Enterprise at 1:15. For those who don't know what Enterprise 2.0 is, it's basically anything that applies to all companies, very focused on HR, IT, future of work. Super interesting. The lunch and the food is going to be behind this place. Just follow the arrows. That's where a lot of the companies are going to be there for networking as well. Please network, mingle, have fun. And thanks for attending. Huh? Yeah. If the startups are here. And